Yeah, that was good, Jeremiah. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath. Don't forget about our Abba's business today. Let's get right at it, y'all. Shalom, sis. How y'all doing?
Shabbat shalom, family. Right. Okay, let's get this. All right, fam. Let it come again.
I was just listening to the volume. Make sure we was good. No, no, we good.
All right, family, we're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission.
Yes.
And it's in the name of His only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer.
Yes, sir.
Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes.
Well, we know Him as Jesus the Christ, family.
Yes.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 41st chapter, it reads, Blessed is he that considereth the poor.
Yes, sir.
The Most High will deliver him in time of trouble. Yahweh will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth. And thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. The Most High will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I say, Master, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die, and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself.
Yes.
When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurts. An evil disease, say they, cleaveth fast unto him. And now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yea, mine own familiar friend,
Yes, sir.
in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me.
Yes, sir.
But thou, O Yahweh, be merciful unto me,
Yes.
and raise me up,
Yes.
that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because my enemy doth not triumph over me.
Hallelujah.
And as for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed be the Most High Yahweh of Israel,
Yes.
from everlasting and to everlasting. Amen and amen. Hallelujah! Selah!
Yes, sir. Very close. Shalom, my man. Shabbat shalom again to the family, to the worldwide audience as we get about our Abba's business, y'all. Y'all always at the end of what we call our feast year. We're about to go into the Passover, which is the first feast day of our biblical year, so to speak, that we like to do end of year questions to make sure that if there's anything on your heart, mind, or soul, it get cleared out, I should say, hopefully with understanding, and it don't get carried over into the new feast year. So at these times, we like to say, let's get the leavening out when there's an opportunity to present itself for us to do so. And y'all know how we get down. End of year questions, I've already got a couple that we'll hit on, but definitely we have to go over the Passover because it is our first doctor's appointment.
Yes, sir.
Y'all know how we get down. Our one and only high priest after the order of Melchizedek, Yahushua HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. He brings forth the law to every male, female, rich, poor, free bond, Jew or Gentile.
That's right.
So y'all, with that, Tuba, I know you had a couple questions out there. I'll mark them down as we go, so we kind of take them one at a time.
Okay.
But the first we'll get on the Passover. Yeah, let me say that too first before we even get started, Tuba. Just want to send shout out to our sick and shut in, to our beloved Emaw. Our beloved Emaw Bob is just not taking ill, so to speak, but just kind of overworked, need to get a little rest. But Emaw is doing well. I just wanted to let the worldwide family know that, and she is recovering well. Also with right at her side is her husband, Mister, who's been ensuring and keeping in touch with us, of her progress. But she's doing well, no need to worry, y'all. She just needs to rest. She just goes so much, non-stop, both of them do. I want to send shouts out again to our sister McCall down there in Dallas, Texas. We know her as Sister Thea. To the household of Uriah, Sister Hannah, STLJudah, and Sister Tashiba. Also to Akshan Wise, a very good friend of his, Sister Peggy Wilson. Y'all are experiencing some things going on in her life, and she definitely needs prayer because the doctors is kind of giving her, results of some findings. So definitely need some prayer going on for Sister Peggy Wilson. Did I miss anybody? Todd Shepard as usual, always, and anybody else? Stella Brown, Mercedes Montgomery, and Sister definitely the house Andre, Sister Luciana, that's recovering well. Definitely shouts out to you, sis. And Leviticus and Mordecai, yeah. So I shot him an email the other day, definitely. So y'all, we want to get right to it.
Also, for all of the elders on the board here.
Thank you, sister, very much. Thank you.
Definitely need them.
Yes, sir. So the first one we do before we get to anything, so we kind of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. We'll just go over the Passover really briefly. And what I'll do is just the time and dates. And then Jacob will present a show tomorrow, with the start of when we go over some things today. So you'll get that, as well as Monday, the feast itself. There'll be a short class on it, so we don't want to overdo it, but we just want to put everybody on point with the first doctor appointment of the year. So we're just going to do kind of a timeline in Leviticus 23 and Numbers 9th chapter. After that, y'all, there'll be a lesson. There's full lessons out there concerning it, but we just want to get to some more questions that's on your heart, mind, and soul before we start the new year. We don't want to drag anything old in there. Ben, what was you saying? Was you saying anything, Ben?
No, I was just talking about election.
Okay, let's go. Okay. So y'all, we'll get right to it. Leviticus 23rd chapter. And y'all, we're going to go over timeline because on the radio station, the worldwide family station, the radio station, Mr. Hebrew 1, you'll see on there feast day Passover, Sunday the 21st. The feast Monday the 22nd, but there's something called the preparation day. So that's why you may see it like that, but no harm, no fault. If you thinking this, I just you know, we've been making mention of it on the show to make sure nobody get confused. But a lot of things we got to get a lot better, y'all. We've been hearing a lot of questions asking, when is it the week of? You know, so that'd be rough if you had a doctor appointment and you realize you done missed it. You got to reschedule.
Yeah, and they gonna charge.
And they gonna charge, yeah. And also, y'all, just want to send shouts out to our beloved brother Jeremiah, also Jerry Wilson Jeremiah. Just may Most High continue to look after that brother and build him up, make him strong. So y'all with that, Leviticus 23rd chapter.
You hearing the echo, Waki?
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it now.
You hear the echo?
Yeah, it's not major, but it's slight. It's in there. I can't hear it through the headphones, but I can hear it with the audience here.
Well, remember that we turned that volume up a little bit.
Yeah, I just turned it down and turned the echo cancellation on.
I mean, this mic.
No, that should be all right. Let me see. And it's a delay too, so it takes a minute to kick in.
All right, well, while we're doing that, we're going to be reading in the book of Leviticus.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 23.
Yeah, we'll start right about 20. Let's get it. 14 yeah. Let's start at verse 1. Yeah.
Sounds fair to me.
Yeah.
Isaiah.
All the way back. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 1. Everybody there? Let's get some understanding, family.
Yeah, it says 100 now.
Okay.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts.
And he said, see, we should proclaim these.
Right.
So it should be a regular speaking information whenever you're teaching someone the feast days of the Most High, so that they'll understand and we kind of get away from these feasts of the world, so to speak. So that has to be added into your preaching of the gospel. And y'all, you know, and it's just to make sure that you're on point. Because if you're telling them to stop something and there's nothing to replace it, they'll go back to it.
Right.
Especially if you don't understand it yourself. So go ahead, bro.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. And holy convocation.
What kind of convocation?
It's an holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Most High in all your dwellings.
In all our dwellings. So a good understanding of that is Jubilees 50th chapter and also Isaiah 58, because there's different types of Sabbaths. You need to understand all of the Sabbath. There's preparation Sabbath. There's Sabbath that's come after feast days. And then there's the weekly Sabbath. There's Sabbaths of Jubilees. But notice it said every day, the very first feast day for us is the Sabbath. We need to proclaim that and truly understand that. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
These are the feasts of the Most High, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Okay.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Most High. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So we see on the 14th day of the month at evening, you know, it's the Lord's Passover. So when you see on Mr. Hebrew 1, the 21st at evening, that's the beginning of what we call the preparation for the Passover. That's when you get all your victuals together. You got everything, your lamb, you're getting everything prepared. And the 15th day, which is sundown the following day, is when you do the Feast of Tabernacles, which, not the Feast of Tabernacles, I'm sorry, the Feast of of unleavened bread, which the Passover, they're like two separate events tied into one. And you do that for 7 days. But as we read a little bit further, you're going to understand what the 14th day means. To put it in perspective, it's like you have Christmas Eve when we was in the world, and then you have the feast on Christmas Day. So if you look at it from that perspective, how you prepared for that following day, this is where they got it from. So you have to understand the 14th day at evening will be tomorrow, right before the sun sets, when the street lights come on. That's the 14th day at evening. That goes all the way till Monday at the same time, right before the street lights come on. When it hits sundown, that's the 15th day. And you go right into your Passover feast of unleavened bread. And we're right there. The 14th day is only for preparation. Get your mind right, get your right, like if you were going, because it's like a doctor appointment. They tell you the day before, look, stop eating at this time. Get yourself prepared for this. Get ready for your doctor's visit on the next day. So you have instructions for the day before of how you prep.
Right.
It's good too about your forehead wrinkled up. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Now I was just wondering, was they still talking about that? Okay, go ahead.
You want to get this question?
What say?
We got a whole line of questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that after we get through with the Passover. Go ahead, read down.
I'm at verse 7.
Go ahead, yeah.
In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So we see here again how 7 days from when we do the Passover will be on a Monday again. So it's saying, but you got to treat that day like a Sabbath day. You have to do the same rest that day. Because look, y'all, it's a feast day. It's going to be joyous occasion. Wine, it'll be food. The next day, you would need to be off, boy, because if you have to get up and head into work, that's why I say prepare, take those days off if you're able to, so that you can sleep in late the next day.
Right.
You're looking at it like a Sabbath, even though the Sabbath ain't for 6 more days. You have to look at that particular next day as a Sabbath day. Whatever you do on the Sabbath, you do it the same way that day. Rest up after all of that. And I'm telling you, to get prepared for over 200 people, there'll need to be some resting up. The committee put in a lot of work, y'all. It's a lot of man hours. And you need to be able to rest up. But that's what he wants you to do, to be able to observe it. So those are the different ways Sabbaths have to be looked at. Not just once a week. There's ways you have to look at the Sabbath throughout the week if feast days are attached to them. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lamb, to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb, without blemish of the first year, for burnt offering unto the Most High.
So we have to separate the order of Aaron versus where we are, Melchizedek now. Christ is our Passover lamb.
That's right.
He's the unblemished lamb. So instead of looking at it like you would do to ensure that the physical lamb was in good shape and your offering was there, you have to get all of the leavening out of yourself and clearly have Christ within yourself and understand that he's our unblemished lamb. Eating physical lamb has nothing really to do if we don't accept the true Messiah, who John introduced as the Lamb of God. If you don't have that first in your mental and understanding that eating a physical lamb will absolutely mean nothing, you just at a buffet.
That's it.
You got to truly understand the lamb that was slain for our iniquities.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to be, he didn't commit none.
Right.
So you must first understand that before any other preparation, you have to get yourself prepared to understand this so that you don't eat or drink unworthily.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Most High for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine. Shall be of wine.
Yeah.
The fourth part of an hin.
Of Hennessy?
No.
You just a hen. Yeah, okay. Yes, so go ahead.
Verse 14.
I'm just messing with y'all. Go ahead.
And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your Elohim. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, in all your dwellings.
So we're saying that all of these offerings, all of these types, you have to get your mind out of the order of Aaron and understand you're the first fruit. You have to offer a clean temple to sacrifice for the Messiah to dwell with you.
That's right.
You have to put on Messiah and understand that all of these offering these things, if you're cooking, you have to think this is about for the Messiah, but it can't compare to the sacrifice that he made in Isaiah 53. So what it's telling you is don't put no onus on making and preparing your food unless you prepared your heart with the Messiah in it, or you wasting your time.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Most High. So
now it's getting into the Feast of Pentecost that comes after the Passover. 7 complete Sabbaths. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Most High.
Yes, sir.
And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Most High, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Most High.
And to clearly get an understanding, you have to study Hebrews, the 9th chapter. That breaks down that we don't sacrifice to bulls and goats anymore, but put everything in perspective of the Messiah. So make sure you read Hebrews, the 9th chapter. It'll clear what we're reading up right now and put you back on point. Go ahead.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offering.
Right.
And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Most High. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Most High for the priest.
For the who?
For the priest.
So hold that right quick, and we're going to come right back to this, but let's just go to the Hebrews 9 so we get some good understanding of the Melchizedek order. See, we're in the wilderness. We're learning about the Passover. He just did it in Egypt. So our flesh was getting whooped into shape. But once we understand this process and who is the true Lamb of God, then we'll get a better understanding in what and how we prepare ourselves.
9 what I can.
You started 1.
Just want to give a shout out to my brother Big Tex. He tuning in from out of state, man.
Big Tex?
Yeah, my boy OC turned him on to us. And,
all praises.
Sent him the,
Shalom, Big Tex.
link, and We've been following this man, I guess, about a month now.
That's wonderful, bro. All praise.
That's what's up. All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Hebrews.
That's right.
Chapter 9. Going to start the reading in verse 1. And it reads, Then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary.
So when you read like chapter 8, verse 1, when it speaks of the Messiah, y'all have to understand what Paul is doing from Hebrews, the 2nd chapter, to Hebrews, the 10th chapter, all the way through is explaining the Melchizedek order coming back into power over Aaron's priesthood. The priesthood of the flesh, so to speak, the law given to us about our flesh. This is the conscience we're back in. So when Paul breaks this down in Hebrews chapter 2 through 10, but I just want to read chapter 8, verse 1. We're going to come right back. Now the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens. See, that's what we have to understand first before we think about eating anything. Now go ahead back, hit verse 9 and 1 again.
Verse 9 and verse 1.
Yeah.
Then verily, the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service.
Yeah, that's what we was just reading in Leviticus. Go ahead.
And a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was the candlestick.
That's what you see right there, the candlestick. Go ahead.
And the table. And the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
Right.
And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. Which had the golden censer, and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant.
See, so that's what it had in there to remind us in the holies of holies. This was, the high priest could only go back there. Moses couldn't even go back there. Even though he was a Levite, it was for the high priest only, and that was Aaron and his sons. And you see everything that was involved with that. The Ark of the Covenant was there, and what was inside of it. We have a little replica Ark of the Covenant right there, and it shows the tables of stone, Aaron's rod that budded, and the showbread, the show table. So all of that's within that little. If we were to lift the top up off of it, you would see those 3 things in there. So, but it's letting you know how important manna bread was, the true manna bread. Y'all understand? That was in the Ark of the Covenant, that only the high priest could go back there. And look at that. Go ahead, read a little bit more.
Verse 5.
Yeah, we're going to read down to 11. Yeah.
Okay. And over it, the cherubims of glory, shadowing the mercy seat.
Yes, sir.
Of which we cannot now speak particularly. Now when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of Yahweh. But into the second went the high priest alone once every year.
Who went in there?
The high priest went in alone once every year.
Right.
Not without blood, which he offered for himself.
Which he offered for who?
For himself. And for the errors of the people.
See, this high priest, because Aaron was born of corruptible flesh, he had to offer first a sacrifice for himself before he did it for the people. So we wouldn't get it mixed up that he's the Messiah or that he's to be looked at like the Messiah. No, he had to offer up sacrifices for himself first and then the people. Go ahead.
Exactly. Verse 8.
Yeah.
The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure.
Which was what?
Which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect, as pertaining to the conscience.
As pertaining to what?
To the conscience.
See, and this is the difference. Melchizedek is straight conscious. you think matters out before you, and that's where you develop patience and different things. How do I react to a situation? They said that first one couldn't do nothing because something else was dying for you. You just go get a beast and he died for your transgression.
Exactly.
No, we got to get out of there. We got to quit killing God's creation for your bad behavior.
Exactly.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
Which stood only in meats and drinks, and divers watchings, and carnal ordinances, imposed on them until the time of Reformation.
Yes, sir.
But Hamashiach being come and high priest of good things to come,
Yes, sir.
by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building.
Going down to verse 14.
Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
What kind of redemption?
Eternal redemption.
For
if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh.
Of the what?
Of the flesh.
See, this is why we have to be extra careful. If that CERN machine or that last eclipse open up the way to the Antichrist, he's coming back with this same type of sacrifice because they got red heifers and stuff out there. So they don't believe in the Messiah. They're waiting on their Messiah.
Exactly.
And they're going to perform the old ritual with the red heifer and the ashes and the whole nine, meaning they reject Christ already being here.
Right.
So we're going to run this all the way on out, bro, because it's some good reading in there. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
How much more shall the blood of Hamashiach, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to Yahweh.
Without what?
Without spot to Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
Purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim.
Purge your conscience from dead works, thinking that I can eat a piece of meat, and that's going to get me closer to the Most High.
Stop playing.
That's a piece of meat.
That's
and
it.
then, look, we would have to be doing it perfectly for that piece of meat to work. Where we going to get a perfect lamb from? Who we got to examine it?
Right. Who's the
Today. Right. So who would we use to even go through that process? We got to get on the Messiah. We got to put the Messiah on. We got to wear him like your favorite clothing, so to speak. What you got over there, Jeremiah?
You know, when he said about that meat, I thought about, I think it's second Ezra with the seven sons of his mother.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, you know.
Yeah.
And they tell how they tortured them boys.
Yeah. And then ask her, well, you got one son left. She like, well, you done killed 6 of them. You might well go ahead and then get me when you get through with them. Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
What kind of inheritance?
Eternal inheritance.
Right.
For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator.
Right.
For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth.
Yes, sir.
Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the testaments which Yahweh hath enjoined unto you.
Yes, sir.
Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood. And without shedding of blood is no remission.
And we have to understand that. So everywhere you see the law or sin, because sin is what?
Transgression of the law.
Blood has to be shed.
That's right.
But y'all, we was into so much wickedness that we was about to run out of animals. Look, I'm talking about, and these things were dying for our transgression, and we were starting to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Look, on our way to do iniquity, trunk loaded up with turtle doves and maybe a goat back there too.
Yeah. Just
Depending on what wickedness we was planning on to getting into. Well, they gonna die, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the Messiah say, no, it's on y'all. Let them animals alone.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Yeah.
It was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Hamashiach is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the true.
Yes, sir.
But into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of Yahweh for us.
So he's the ultimate sacrifice. We don't look to him, we're going to have a problem. It's like in the book of Numbers when they had the rear up Nehushtan, which was the cross symbol back in the day, because serpents were biting people in the wilderness for sinning. So he said, just look to that, and then the serpents will stop biting you. But it was all about obedience. It wasn't idol worship. It just say, if you obey and do this, just look there, because he wanted you to look at what's causing your problem. Back then, but John 3:13 through 18 said Christ must be lifted up the same way. And when you sin, you have to look at him like that. He's the only one can forgive you of those transgressions and get them off of you. So he would be lifted up the same way. We got so bad with that cross that King Hezekiah had to destroy. We carried it on into Jerusalem and was worshiping like they're doing today.
Yeah.
They wear it the same way and don't even understand how it ever came into existence. And we have to look at the same way fringes came into existence, the same way, both off of disobedience and punishment. That means the curse of the law. You have to have your flesh whooped because you won't obey.
Right.
And this is what Paul is talking about. Get out of whooping your flesh and get your mind right.
That's it.
And that'll save your flesh from keep getting whoopings. Y'all ever had somebody in the family, you be like, man, I just don't know why he just keep getting whoopings. He must like whooping. No, he don't like him the way he hollering.
Right.
He said, okay, I'll be good. Then he know what bad is.
Right.
Before the licks even start, okay, I'll be good.
Right.
From what?
Right. I won't do it.
I won't do it no more. And they ain't even told you what. And do it again.
Boy.
So we had to get out of that. We had to get our mind right so we quit getting whoopings. Go ahead, bro.
Boy, that's so familiar.
Yeah, ain't it, boy? Look here. Yes, sir.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
Nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the holy place every year with blood of others.
And Messiah ain't going to be put on the cross no more. He ain't going to keep getting crucified like we kept doing him. Right. One and done.
Right. He died for our sins. Not so we could sin.
And continue to sin.
Right.
So y'all one and done, and then we pick up the pace from there and understand from a conscious level that something shouldn't have to die for me keep sinning.
Right. And then see, that's funny because some people try to justify that, like, didn't he die for our sins?
Yeah.
No, man.
Look, if that's the case, why would that even be a concern to you? Because you don't even take that into account. He had to give his life.
Right, so that we could have.
And that you can continue doing what you used to do.
Stop it.
And you're going to do it even worse because you say, I got to pass now.
Right.
What would keep you from going worse?
Right.
Boy, I mean, you would be in a puffy mindset all day long.
And that's like a spoiled child that doesn't get discipline coming up, thinking whatever they do is okay.
Yeah. Right.
And the scripture even said the Lord chasteneth his that he loves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to know the difference between right and wrong, and when you going wrong.
Right.
Everything you do is not right.
Right.
That's right.
So you got to have some type of repercussions to get you back into shape if you going off.
Right. Because, look, you ain't going to be able to go get that parent that kept covering that for you when you get in trouble with the law.
Right.
I just want to know, Your Honor, if I can do 2 of them 5 years you gave him. They like, hell no, he going to do all his time.
Yeah.
You can't intervene here.
Right.
That was for you to train him in the house before we get it.
Right.
Because we ain't going to spare him around her.
No.
and he gonna work for 7 cents a day.
Yeah.
And we're gonna tell him when the lights go out.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell him how long and what channels he can watch on TV.
When he can shower.
When he can shower. See, but that's why I say train up a child and he'll understand and he'll change his ways,
That's
you
right.
know. But you got to train them up while they're young. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 26.
Yeah.
For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself.
Yes, sir.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die.
How many times?
Once to die. But after this, the judgment.
See, so if you thinking well, I'll come back in the next lifetime and I'll ask Christ to save me again. No. It's appointed for every man to die once, and then you at judgment day.
Right.
Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 28. So Hamashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many. And unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
See, the second time, because he's not carrying anybody's transgression.
That's right.
This second time around. He's not coming by. The second coming ain't going to be to clean you up again.
No.
You got to be cleaned up here.
That's
so
right.
you're prepared for him.
Yeah.
He going back to prepare a place for you for a prepared people.
Exactly.
You ain't going to just walk in there stanky legging like you've been doing.
No. You got that spot ready
You,
for
you,
you?
you got that spot ready for me.
You better get out of
Yeah,
there.
it's going to be rough. So we want to go into that to understand the Levitical part, that when it talks about the Passover, about the lamb, because you got a lot of people out there asking questions. You show your lamb is unblemished? Yeah, our lamb is the high priest, the Messiah.
Yeah.
Yahushua Hamashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. We know he's pure. Tried 7 times in the fire.
That's right.
Now, if you questioning me, talking about did I go down to Sula Market or something, I guaranteed out to Grant's Farm, we ain't on that program.
No.
No. Go ahead, bro.
Back in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, and we're at verse 21.
Yeah.
Everybody there? Need a second to get back. Time's up.
Yeah.
Leviticus 23 and 21.
Yes, sir.
And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
What shall you not do?
No servile work therein.
See, y'all see how these feast days of just put a Sabbath right on you, that you have to rest y'all behind this. See, and when we was at home, can y'all imagine the lambs that they were putting down and what it took to prepare a feast for all 12 tribes? Coming up to Jerusalem and eating and getting prepared, y'all, you going to be wore out. And you need to take a day off from work if you're able to.
Yeah.
If you're able to. Go ahead.
It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
Yes, sir.
And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and to the stranger. I am the Most High, your Elohim.
You can hold that, y'all, because it's getting into a few other things. But y'all, there's only 2 feast days that you have a day prior that you have to get ready. It tells you about the actual day, and then it'll go back like the Day of Atonement. It says on the 10th day of the month. But on the 9th day, you start your fast, your Sabbath and fast at evening. Passover and Atonement are the only ones that you get prepared from evening to evening to get the Passover ready, y'all, because what this is doing, back then when we were sacrificing a lamb, it was to offer your transgressions, to clean your house out before you come into the new year. This was technically what would be considered your New Year's resolution. get all the leavening out. There's a physical side of, you can get all the crackers and soda out of your house, but if you still got leavening in here, you just put stuff in the trunk of your car. You wasting time.
Yeah.
You might well have been eating whatever. Might as well keep eating bread.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? If you ain't got the right bread sent from heaven on your mind.
You gotta have your heart right, baby.
And that's why in that covenant, it was the manna bread, the pot that the manna bread was in, to let you know this is angels' food you're eating. This is supernatural.
Right.
That works and heals for everlasting. We ain't talking about this that's gonna die and corrupt. This gonna be through. So y'all, with that, we want to just kind of go over that. But like I say, Jake is going to do a full presentation tomorrow around that time, because we know some family members out there will be doing the Passover solo, but you won't be solo. The Messiah be with you. Where there's two or more gathered, he's present. So don't ever feel like it's alone, but we do understand. That's why we try to ensure, and we ask the Most High for mercy, that we're able to maintain an assembly. You know, for at least for the gathering, so to speak. Right. Because we need to fellowship like that. But what we want to do is go to now Numbers 9. And like I say, there's full classes online already. We just want to hit the areas that's of much concern. And like some people may ask, what happens if I missed the Passover, or I couldn't get to it? I was in the hospital, or I was sick. There's something called the makeup Passover, but it's only one. You can't make up all the rest of the year. Right. One and done. See, and we have to understand also, like some people say, well, this individual couldn't come. Just say if a male, if he's experiencing some in his shorts that he shouldn't, or a woman, if she was coming into, her flower, different thing, if it was rough to the point that it was going to be exposed or get on something, then I understand you can't come to the Passover. You have to understand those things that were, because blood is contaminated. That's all we're saying. Those were the only reason. But if it was to be contained, yes, because you have to look at this, because 30 days later, what, ain't it going to be the same situation? Yeah. So, but you would get yourself better prepared, that you don't want to get up and leave something in a seat, so to speak. So let's get that Numbers 9 and 1.
Everybody there? Yes, sir. Reading in the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season.
Yes, sir.
In the 14th day of this month, at even, ye shall keep it in its appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof shall ye keep it.
Yes, sir.
And Moses spake unto the children of Israel, and they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even, in the wilderness of Sinai.
So y'all keep understanding why I keep saying at evening. Look, our day starts at night. Evening is the part that technically ranges from when the sun starts to decline, from like 3 p.m. or so, and that's when the Messiah was put to death, in the 9th hour. That's in evening time. And once it get to the street lights come on, that lets you know that's a sign from the heaven, or it's called twilight. It's letting you know the day is finna change. We're finna go into another day. So Sunday is the preparation day. I want y'all to get it understood. What we're saying tomorrow, about this time or an hour from now, just say 3 p.m. Tomorrow is your prep day. All the way till Monday, the same 3 p.m. You're prepping for the Passover. When sundown hit, we are into the 15th day, and that's when you have your first Passover meal with unleavened bread. Shalom, my friend. Y'all understand what we're saying? Yes, sir. If it's flying over your head, just say it again.
Say it again.
See, okay, Sunday, April the 21st, is the 14th day of our lunar calendar. Though it's on the 21st, the month count, when the moon cycles, it will be considered the 14th day of the lunar calendar cycle. We still got the sun. We still holding it as the 21st. But to keep our mind right on the feast time, on the lunar calendar, it's the 14th day of the month at even. So that means 3 p.m. to the street lights come on tomorrow evening. And you do that all the way till Monday at the same time. That's still considered the 14th day, even though it'll say the 22nd on the calendar. We're still into the 14th day until the sun goes down. It changed to the 15th day. The only difference, y'all, day is still starting at night. Right. What happened is this nation just starts it at midnight. You understand? They are 6 hours later. Mm-hmm. They just, because the new day is 12:01 midnight, right? Yeah. And look, we could be, if you 25, before you turn 26, you can be 11 months, 30 days, and 59 minutes, but you don't turn that next age till the clock strikes 12.
Right.
You understand? So y'all, if you just understand it from that perspective, just look at Sunday as getting all my meal together. All day Sunday, starting at 3 p.m. Sunday, all the way to 3 p.m. Monday. I've got my stuff prepared. Now I'm just waiting for the day to the sun to go down. We're into the 15th day of the month. The moon should be full. There should be a full moon. And that lets us know we on point. The most we're going to be off is maybe 12 hours or so, because Jerusalem is 8 hours ahead of us. When we get to the sun, they already in the bed and sleep good. They 8 hours ahead. You understand? So it'll be technically 2 a.m. for them if our sun went down at 6 p.m.
Right.
So we can't go off of their time. We just use their time to say, okay, they've got bud, so we should be getting the same thing they're getting 8 hours later. Our crops should start to be. But it's going to be on your time zone. You can't do feast days from Jerusalem perspective, or we'll be up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning trying to do feast days. Mm-hmm. Because they're 8 hours ahead. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go ahead. Where we at?
Back in the book of Numbers, chapter 9, and we'll start verse 5 from the top.
Yeah.
And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai. Uh-huh. According to all that the Most High commanded Moses. So did the children of Israel. And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man. So now we're getting into situational events, because the Bible answers itself for everything. People have questions. Well, what about I had to go to a funeral that day or something like that? Would I be excluded? All these questions, the Bible already got the answers for what you may be thinking. He's already the head of the game for everything, but he wants us not to be a robot. He wants us to question certain situations about his law. Mm-hmm. He don't want us just to be, okay, we ain't supposed to do that. You're supposed to be a thinker in this matter. What happens if we like this? He say, good question. I'm glad y'all asked that. Get an understanding. Go ahead, bro. That they could not keep the Passover on that day. Uh-huh. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. And those men said unto him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back? And we may not offer an offering unto the Most High in his appointed season among the children of Israel. So this is what we're saying too, like if somebody's saying, well, I have to work the Sabbath. Well, if I don't, I can't make an offering. Am I in a catch-22 situation? Am I 110-5? If I don't work, they told me they're going to have to let me go. Right. Do now I become an infidel, can't take care of my household. No, you have to keep it as holy as you can. Try not to be involved in nothing you would have been the first 5 days at that work or wherever the other days. But ask him, please deliver me from this situation. Because if I walk off of that job, how am I going to feed my family? Right. So now do I fall victim to, I can't take care of my household, I'm worse than an infidel. Well, you say, well, the Lord going to provide. Yes, but how long will that be while the rent man like this? Right. While the car note man like this, or the electric company, or that. So he said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So you have to be in perspective that you saying, well, I kept the Sabbath, so
That's why I gave my life for you, Lord, like that. He said, you didn't do it like I told you to do it. It was strictly for you to understand it from rest first, and then secondly, to keep it as holy as possible. You can't keep it holy if on your mind is all day, if I walk off of this job, my family gonna starve. Yeah, Lord, be with me. And that's what he was telling the Pharisees. He said, hold on now. You won't even let them pluck the corn to eat. You're saying they doing that on the Sabbath. You wouldn't even let me heal a man on the Sabbath. Not let me do it. You accuse me of doing that on the Sabbath. He said, but I saw y'all when y'all ox fell in the hole. You and old Pharisee Willie roll y'all sleeves up. And y'all got down in that hole and y'all got that ox out. Wasn't that on the Sabbath day? See, if you driving and you catch a flat tire on the highway and you catch it on 70 in Goodfellow right in that area, do you leave that car on the side of the road and expect, you saying one tire's flat, but when you come back now, you got to buy 4 tires and rim because it's going to be on some bricks.
Yeah, they just stole the flat.
But look here, look, the flat too, yeah. So, do you call a tow truck and get it moved? From this perspective and say, I just can't take the chance. If they take this car, I have no way to work. I'm going to lose my job. So it's not saying break the Sabbath. What I'm saying, the Sabbath is made for man. Only keep it holy as possible. He wouldn't want you to leave your car there on the Sabbath and then you can't go work for 6 days and then you violate this commandment. Well, Lord, I didn't go, so it's on you to take care of my house now. I left the car out there like you said.
Right, you told me to. You
told me to, and then they fired me because I ain't have no way to work. You should have provided a way to work for me to get to work, Lord. That's why I didn't do it. No, that's why the Messiah was saying the Sabbath is made for man. Sometimes you may have to do. Then he gave 2 examples. Like David ate the showbread, which was only for the priests only. Why was he allowed to do that? Or the priests work every Sabbath and they're considered blameless. Does it count for the priests? They still doing sacrifice. You know why? Because we don't stop sinning on the Sabbath. Right. They had to still account for you sinning on the Sabbath. What he do on the Sabbath? Lord have mercy. Go get 2 bullocks. This is crazy on the Sabbath. So you got them working. Unless everybody got to the mindset that they was going to quit sinning Friday sundown. There'll be no more sinning until Saturday sundown. Yeah. Is it any such individual on this planet that ever accomplished that, so to speak? The priest wouldn't even have to go to work then. Right. But as long as there's a TGI Friday going on in this country, boy, he'd had to kill them all the rams, wouldn't he? So, y'all, we just want y'all to understand we would never tell you to break the law of the Sabbath. What we're talking about is certain situations that come up. You got to be able to explain it like the Messiah did. And then, because you know if you're doing it out of line. You know better than anybody why you're doing this. You know why you may have to go in on that day. And you may have to work, but you have to pray, Lord, can you please deliver me from having to work? And before you know it, supervisor come to you like, hey, you know what? There's a position, actually it's just Monday through Friday. You be like, thank you, Lord. You came through for me. But the reason I'm saying this is because when you got the job, they don't spring the weekend on you. They ask you before you sign the contract, can you work weekends and holidays? And you thinking, boy, all these pockets flat as the plains of Kansas. Ain't no money been in here in a long while. I've been pulling enough lint to make a blanket. Will, boy, look here. Yes, I can work them. Lord, have mercy, please forgive me. But you, at that point, it's on the line. You understand what I'm saying? Or you hold off and this baby need milk.
But is it not lawful to do good
on the Sabbath day? That's what we're talking about. It has to be made sin. And we're not telling you, all we got to find in the Bible where the priests are forgiving for working on the Sabbath. Because we were still sinners on the Sabbath. Yeah. Look, that's where fringes came from. That was sinning on the Sabbath. Should the priest be responsible for us? sinning on the Sabbath.
God forbid.
But they had to work every day, 7 days a week, because we wouldn't quit sinning even on the Sabbath day, y'all. That's all we're saying. Not telling you to break the law. We're just telling you, if you truly believe, the Most High will make a way and get you off them Sabbath days. But you then can't use that to be now going and watch your favorite TV show or something, or doing what you want to do. Like Isaiah 58 say, then you go on to do your own pleasure. No, you should be, once you deliver, you should then respect it as that perspective. I've been delivered.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's funny because a few family members been noticing I cut my hair. Mm-hmm. But the other day,
look, they probably said, "No, man, show Liz, I know them
talk about it." Yeah. And I've seen a few of them in the chat, but you know, the Ruach came to me the other day because I've been praying on some things, and you know, like, well, go on and cut that hair, boy. I don't have to worry about that because you know, sometimes change is scary, but then at times it's necessary. Right. You have to make a change, man, to gain some peace. And you know, sometimes when I drive, my hair had gotten so long. When I go to turn my head, it was getting caught on my back, and when I lay down, it'll flop over, and I was just like, man, do I let my hair continue to grow? Or then they said, well, let it stop bothering you. Just go ahead and get rid of it.
Right, see, right.
And then that one day, I just said, let me do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so now it's done, and this is me.
Yeah, look younger like, don't he?
Took a load off.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I look like he back in the 11th grade, don't he?
Until you look at this cheek.
Yeah, right. Right, look. No, that's just great because you look like you're in the 11th grade, but you older than that. So, yeah, some got to show.
Boy, look, I look good in the 11th grade with a chin on.
Let's catch up, y'all.
So, back in the book of Numbers.
Yeah.
Chapter 9, and we're in verse 8.
Yeah.
It reads, and Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Most High will command concerning you. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off.
Or be in a what?
A journey afar off.
So, see, contrary to belief that you can't do the feast days in another land, you know, it's just saying if you're in a journey, you had to go somewhere to take care of something. Go ahead.
Yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Most High. The 14th day of the second month.
Of the what month?
Of the second month at even they shall keep it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs.
See, unleavened bread and bitter herbs in the second month. You only get one makeup month. You can't go to multiple Passover. It's people that been saying, man, I hear they doing it over there, and they go over there. That means 14 days of unleavened bread.
Right.
You can't do multiples. There's a amendment put in place if something happens and you miss the first one. And y'all, we've done it on several occasions that where individuals weighed out the situation, and we had a smaller Passover gathering for those individuals through the second month. But it can't be just, you know, you just messing around.
Right.
And you technically done forgot when the Passover was. Oh, dog, I can't believe I missed it. Man, when was it?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
There it is.
No, nothing on that because you just, you know, wasn't keeping up or paying attention. No, it ain't for that. There has to be a specific reason. A reason that something happened. Say you may have been in the hospital or something, you know, and you really felt like we need to do this. There was an amendment put in place for that. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
They shall leave none of it until the morning, nor break any bone of it. According to all the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it.
And so we do some ordinances like we keep the bones of the lamb and we burn them. But it's all just customary because, you know, the bones we technically have are broken. Christ didn't have no broken bones because what would happen when you were crucified, if you weren't dead by a certain hour, they would break a bone. That would speed up to death. Can you imagine hanging? You're already suffocating and then they break a bone because crucifixion is the worst death possible you're talking about a torture. You actually suffocate in your own blood and pain because you're hanging up like this and your lungs just can't take it after a while. And you're trying to just hold yourself up and you can't, and you're just suffering. And then they stick like they stuck a sword in his side, and blood and water came out. Though they had to do those type of things to speed up the death, because every man has to be taken down before sundown. You could not take anything into a next day. That's why man couldn't hang on a tree. Had to get them down before sundown. But when we got to this land, they left us out there all night hanging on trees. Early in the morning, the birds would come and peck your eyes out and everything. But they was using us for a display to let every other Hebrew know, if y'all mess up, y'all gonna be out here all night too and get your eyes plucked out.
Right.
So we would have to fray the birds away in the day. Get away from that body. But you had to get it down before night. And that's when they got the Messiah down before nightfall, before it went into another day. Mm-hmm. Cursed is the man that hangeth on the tree all night.
Right.
Go ahead. What else you got?
Verse 13.
Yeah.
But the man that is clean and is not in a journey, and forbeareth to keep the Passover, even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people. Because he brought not the offering of the Most High in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin.
Now, see how I flipped the script real quick? It said, now, if the person ain't got no problems, he cool, he healthy,
can make it,
and he refused to. Mm-hmm. They're like, man, yeah, I hear the Passover tomorrow. Dog, look, man, come on, man, look. I got to make my socks, man. I ain't did my laundry in a while. And
we ain't supposed to keep the Passover in this
land.
land.
And we ain't supposed to keep it in this land. And all of those excuses, you bear your sin for that.
That's right.
Because there's no reason for you to miss your doctor's appointment.
None.
These are doctor appointments. Would you tell your doctor, he come in like, I really need you to come in here. It's something we found in your blood we need to discuss. You're like, oh, doc, don't worry about that blood. That's just a little MD 2020 got it hyped up like that. Go ahead, where we at? Now he like, no, you about to be a mad dog if you don't get in here. I got some things to tell you.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
And if a stranger, If a stranger shall sojourn among you, and will keep the Passover unto the Most High, according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the manner thereof, so shall he do. Ye shall have one ordinance, both for the stranger.
How many ordinances?
One ordinance, both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land.
So y'all see how that makes up for any situation that we may have. And these situations came up like people saying, well, what about this situation? Man, I'm stuck in this situation. No, you ain't stuck. You ain't the first one that's been put in this position.
And it says right there that strangers are able to participate at the Passover.
Strangers came out of with Egypt, didn't it?
Exactly. 600,000
men, and that wasn't including the women and children. They say plus strangers.
Right.
They had to do it because look, when put the blood over your doorpost, was that for Israel only, or was it for just believers? Because them Egyptians that came out with us had to put blood over their doorposts, or they wouldn't have been allowed to come out with us. Strangers came out amongst us, was with us. In the wilderness was with us. That's what we have to understand, y'all. Some say, y'all God don't play. We rolling with y'all. Just like Zechariah say, 10 men of all nations say, we hear and we know you God's people. We want to go with you. Can we go? What you going to tell them? Hell no. You stay over here. And like Rahab, absolutely. You stay over here with your other heathenish people that used to kill us. You can't go with us. No, we don't have that power to do so. What you got to do about it?
In the chat, got a question pertaining to what you just said.
Okay.
So did the Romans break the bones of each person on the stake? Were they aware of the Hebrew laws?
They didn't care about no Hebrew law. What I'm saying is, well, in a sense, they knew they didn't want nobody hanging up there all night. Wild animals could come and get you. They wanted you buried too, but that was just the law in the land as well. They got it from us, But that was just a thing you just didn't do. You just didn't hang nobody overnight and everybody going to sleep. And then the next morning you come out there and the only thing left is a piece of his body. Because y'all know a bear can climb a tree as well as a leopard or a lion. And when you wake up, it ain't going to be nothing left. You know, and so it was a thing, get them down. And not only for that, but it was for contamination reasons. The longer a body stays at there, a body could explode. That's why at funeral homes, they don't allow you, like some Israelites won't do embalming. They want to do put the herbs on them and different things to kind of preserve them. We had a group that was in here. They told them, they said, y'all got 2 hours when we open this casket up. So whoever ain't here, we got to close it back in case that body explodes. You know, had some supposed to be priest came down and rubbed all over the body. But when you went in there, you could kind of smell, kind of half dead smell a little bit. Y'all, I don't know if anybody ever smelled death. But you could kind of smell it when it don't have embalming fluid in it. See, and then we got a question that's going to come up about cremation, but I'll go into more about embalming when that happens. But, you know, those people that did that to anointed you with oils, you had your funeral and burial the same day. We couldn't wait 2 weeks for Uncle Junior and them to get in time. Or let's hold it, it'll be next Thursday. No, when you died, you got buried that day to keep contaminations down. A body will swell up and explode. Won't it, Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
And y'all, can y'all imagine dead flesh squirting all in your face, just exploding like, boy, a water balloon?
Oh, man. That's
Boy, you be doing like this, you just feel like you itching, and you could have just scrubbed it with Comet. It's still, I think, do you see something on it, man? Did you finish that, bro?
No, we at verse 15.
Okay.
Verse 15. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. And at even there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning.
You can hold that, and we just wanted to get that secondary Passover in case individual, I'm talking about a serious issue that prevented them from joining the Passover or doing it. They would offer the second Passover. You know, but that was the only way. You couldn't have one and just say, man, damn, I wish y'all had told me. I'm gonna do it tonight. And no, you can't make up your own rule.
Right.
So y'all, we want to touch on those two things about the Passover, just to bring you on point at what happens on the 14th day at evening, how you prepare, and then on the 15th day, when the full moon is out, that's technically our first Passover, because it says the Passover, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover. Two different names, but the feast day is intertwined together. One, you just prep. The prep day is called this. Once you hit that particular day, it's called this. That's when you join both of them together. That makes sense? What you got out there next, too, by? Hopefully that covered it, unless some people have some more questions or concerns.
All right. First question. Well, that was the first question. Second question. Who is the Bible referring to? The people in the desert, Caiaphas' time, or when he said, you are your father's children? Who are they talking about? Jews or Israelites? What is the difference? Basically, when did we end and they begin in the scriptures? Or the confusion during translation? I got the question on the screen so you can read it as I read it.
So basically what I'm hearing is John 8:44. You are the devil. You are the children of the devil. But this is what we have to understand. In the Old Testament, it breaks down every group of people by their nation and race. In the New Testament, it breaks down all the 12 tribes and then everybody else in the world. So it's only going to be Jew and Gentile in the New Testament. Only. Jew will not apply to any other nation of people, even if they claim to be us. They will never be called us. in the Bible so you don't get it mixed up or twisted. It's not a language issue. It's not a barrier issue. It's just those people who don't want certain groups of people to understand the Bible. They label they may say, oh, those are white Jews or whatever. But there's nowhere in Genesis to Revelation that they're ever called white Jews.
Right.
Closest you're going to get is those that say they are Jews and do lie. That's a total difference from you seeing the word Jew. Versus it's explaining somebody that's saying they're you, but they're a liar. See, this so-called Jew today don't call himself Jews. The people do. He say, I'm an Israeli. Or I'm Israel that lies. That's how it's spelled. So they ain't lied to you yet. And then they say, we don't study out of the Bible.
Right.
We study out of the Talmud and the Kabbalah. Yeah. So he's not lying to us. We just forcing him into a position that he ain't even in. He said, your shield is the Messiah. Like David said, our shield is the hexagram. And yet we go grab their shield and turn down the Messiah as our shield. You understand what I'm saying? So you have become a proselyte into their religion. But everywhere you see Jew in the New Testament, it means all the 12 tribes. Is only looked at from the perspective that the Messiah will come out of the tribe of Judah. It's the Genesis 49. It's when Jacob said to Judah, you get your inheritance from me, but also what's coming out of your loins is the repairer of the breach, what happened in the Garden of Eden. He has to straighten that out. So there's a spiritual side to you, Judah, and you hold the law and the scepter until Shiloh comes. When Shiloh comes, you relinquish it to him. And then, so all of the 12 tribes call themselves Jews. But Judah is only the 4th tribe. Before this situation, you couldn't call a Benjamite a Judite. Right. You couldn't call him a Jew. He like, I'm a Benjamite. Perfect example, real quick, if you will, Ariel. Give me Romans 11:1. So y'all understand what I'm saying. Because Paul was called a Jew of Tarsus. But Paul was not from the tribe of Judah. Paul going to explain what he's saying, where he's from. So y'all, that keeps you from thinking the Bible has been tampered with, seeing Jew in the Bible. But nowhere where you see Jew in the Bible is tied to another nation but Israel.
Romans 11.
Now, after we got run out, they took over and went up into our synagogues. But before that, I know they who say they're Jews and are not, but do lie. Mm-hmm. Before we got run out the land, he was talking about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They were proclaiming and they were sitting in Moses' seat. The problem you have with 3 and 9 and 2 and 9 of Revelation, if you don't read verse 1, you're going to have to answer that. That's going to be trouble because it starts off, these are the Messiah's churches. So if you look at them, you're saying, hell, they part of the church. What happened to them? It won't work. You're going to be caught in a dilemma, so to speak. You understand? Unless you understand he was first talking about the Pharisees when he said, if you don't get past their righteousness, you can't get into the kingdom. They say they Jews, but they're not up here because they don't believe who's coming out of the 4th tribe to redeem mankind. They don't believe it. They believe it's their high priest right here, this Negro right here, acting like he's somebody. They're sitting in Moses' seat. That's who they're looking at as the unblemished lamb, even though he may be blemished up right in front of their face. Like people were saying, man, y'all shouldn't say that about Jermaine Grant. We don't know what the hell you mean? This Negro saying the power of God on earth and got a prescription.
Right.
And then y'all say the Messiah is born through a roll in the hay, but you want us to respect this Negro with a prescription and he's saying he's the Holy Spirit. That's the mindset it was talking about first in Revelation 3 and 9. But go ahead, where we at, bro?
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 1.
Yeah.
I say then, hath Yahweh cast away his people? Yah forbid. For I also am an Israelite.
What is Paul saying he is?
An Israelite.
Shalom, Sister
Of
Angie.
the seed of Abraham.
Uh-huh.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of what? Who he named?
Of Benjamin.
See, and you'll see where Paul is called a Jew of Tarsus. Mm-hmm. All that meaning is he's under, I know who my Redeemer is. Mm-hmm. And he's out of the tribe of Judah. So yes, I'm Jew. Because I respect the fourth tribe. Like when we throw up the fourth, people ask, what y'all throwing up the fourth tribe? Not just saying we all Judah. What we're saying is we respect the fourth tribe what Jacob said in Genesis 49 to Judah. Till Shiloh come. We're saying Shiloh, we Shiloh. We throw up the fourth tribe. We true Messianics. We don't believe Joseph, Father. We believe every word from Genesis to Revelation. That he's coming without blemish or without fault. And we throw up the fourth tribe. But a Naphtalian can throw up the fourth. Then we know he's Messianic. Like we got so many Hebrew groups out here, they don't believe in the Messiah. Sakari and them, they don't believe in the Messiah. They're chasing Judaism doctrines. Mm-hmm. Everything they do is from the Talmud and the Kabbalah. You compare the two, that's who the Messiah and John the Baptist was busting heads. You serpents, you vipers. Them was Israelites, Pharisees, and Sadducees. Right. Hit that 9 while you're in that Romans. Go back to 9 and 1. And this is Paul knowing who he was. He was not confused. He didn't think he was he didn't people thought, see, he wasn't even a Roman. See right here he say he a Jew, he this and that. No, Paul knew exactly how to answer that question. You want my tribe? Or look, we're American citizens. Let's not get it misunderstood. But if you want my tribal origin, I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah based on the conditions of Deuteronomy 28 and Genesis 49 chapter, what would happen to us in the last day. If you want my tribal origin. But just to say Jew, it's one or two ways. Either you chasing Phariseeism or you know the power that's coming out of the fourth tribe. Because David was also told a scepter in Isaiah 11. A star gonna run from the fourth tribe. That's who he coming through. Which Hebrews 7 chapter, which never was mentioned about priesthood. Levi was mentioned about the priesthood, but not Judah. When you read Hebrews 7 and 16, you're gonna understand what I'm saying perfectly. Was we finna read something 9 and 1?
Yeah.
Read something 9 and 1. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm reading further down. I'm like, how far you want to go?
I just want to go to who the promises was, because he know it. See, you can say what you want about Paul, but you know what you can't say about Paul? You can't never say he broke the law. Show me where Paul broke the law. They just keep you in confusion. Oh man, he was arguing with Peter, and he said this. You can do just what he said in Acts 24 and Acts 28, where Paul said, everything I do is by the law and the prophets. Your job would be just say, right here he broke the law. Right here he disagreed with the prophets. But they don't do that. They keep trying to confuse you about Paul and twisting his words. That's what Peter said. The man you said he had an argument. Peter said, y'all wrestle with Paul right into your own destruction.
That's it.
Oh, Shabbat
Shalom, y'all. What's up, John Don? Shalom, sister. Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at?
I want to read more of everything.
Okay, yeah, just go down to 7 on that, and then I want to take you somewhere else real quick. Go down to 7.
All right, we're going to be reading in the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 1.
Yeah.
I say the truth in Hamashiach. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost.
What's bearing him witness? His what?
His conscience. Bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
See, and that's what he's saying about Christ. He said, I wish I could, because it's all about him, but everybody is not looking at him like that. We got 10 tribes that don't even believe in him. We got this group over here that just don't believe in the Messiah, and they're Israelite. We call them non-messianic maniacs.
That's right.
They will fall for the Antichrist. When the Antichrist come and start doing sacrifices, they will accept him. They're going to accept him.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
Who are Israelites?
Who are who?
Who are Israelites?
Uh-huh.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
Uh-huh.
And the glory.
Uh-huh.
And the covenant.
Uh-huh.
And the giving of the law.
Uh-huh.
And the service of Yahweh. And the promises.
Yes, sir.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, Yahweh blessed forever. Amen. Not as though the word of Yah hath taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
Y'all see that? And that's talking about the mental. You can claim you Israel, but you don't believe the Messiah. That's why he say, for Christ's sake, about my kinsmen.
Right, right. Just because you skin folk, don't make you kinfolk.
Right.
Verse 7. Neither, because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh.
Uh-huh.
These are not the children of Yahweh.
See, the children of the flesh was Ishmael and Esau. Those are the children of the flesh. Go ahead.
But the children of the promise.
But the children of who?
Of the promise
Uh-huh.
are counted for the seed.
See, the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Isaac was the promised son. He was the one that they told you going to have a son. Out of your old age, it's going to be a miracle child. That was counted for the promise. The flesh of Abraham, meaning the child he had by Hagar, which was Ishmael. And the other descendant of Isaac, who was Esau. Both of them are Hebrews. They're Hebrew Ishmaelites.
Yes, sir.
And they're Hebrew Edomites.
Yes, sir.
But then there's the Hebrew Israelites
Yes, sir.
of the 12 tribes. That's where the promise went through. That's where the seed blessing coming through. The other two, Ishmael and Esau, are fighting over firstborn rights and saying the land should belong to me. So they're squabbling with each other. That's the war of the Arabs and also Ishmael against Esau. That's their continual war, their continual battle over a land that don't belong to neither one of them. And they're fighting over firstborn rights, saying it should belong to me. No, Esau, you know what you did about yours. It was never promised. It was in the womb that elder should serve the younger. You never was going to get the eternal promise.
Can I
Ever.
take that down to 16?
You can take it down to 16, bro. You feeling that, huh?
Yeah.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
'cause You just said what it said.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, bro. Yeah.
All right, now I'm at, I finished 8, I'm at verse 9.
Yeah.
For this is the word of promise.
Uh-huh.
At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son.
Uh-huh.
And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac.
Right.
For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
They haven't done what?
Any good or evil.
So you can't let come out of your mouth that Esau was born to be wicked.
Right.
It said the children had done no good or evil.
Right.
Go ahead.
That the purpose of Yahweh according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that called.
That the election might stand. Who I choose to be the firstborn, not man. I'm going to choose Jacob over Esau, even though Esau come out first. And he should have firstborn rights. Mm-hmm. Just like Joseph when he had Manasseh and Ephraim. Manasseh was the oldest, I believe, but Jacob moved the other boy, Manasseh, in his place, and he said, no, he the oldest. He said, no, God got this. This is who he wants to be the firstborn in the spiritual sense, not the firstborn just coming out of the womb. But I want him to be the firstborn. And he put his hand under the thigh. That means when you put your hand under the thigh, that means the closest thing to a man's word is his cojones.
Right.
because we have children. You
Right,
understand?
right.
But that's what you would say. That's my word. That's my bond, because that technically make me a man, so to speak. If y'all understand what I'm saying. You get rise and children. Without them, you get neither.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written.
As it is what?
As it is written. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
And this hate is a love less. I just love Jacob more than I love Esau. Because if it wasn't, Cornelius couldn't be in there. And Job couldn't be in the count, because Job is clearly an Edomite, but he say, my Redeemer liveth. I see him on the earth. I'm going to see him, in these eyes going to see my Redeemer. So he was fourth tribe, even though he was from Esau, he understood fourth tribe.
Exactly.
And where it was coming from. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Yahweh? Yah forbid. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahweh that showeth mercy.
But that's what it comes down to. But while you in this same Roman, just give me 3:1-3. And see, this is straightens out that Jew situation again. That's why we took you to Paul, to let you know Paul knew his tribal origin. I'm a Benjamite, but I'm going to be called a Jew. You can be a Danite. You're going to be called a Jew. When they airlifted the tribe of Dan back, didn't they say they airlifted the Jews back? They out of Dan. They not out of Judah. The true Jew should be out of the tribe of Judah, unless you represent the Messiah. Then you call yourself a Jew. So all of the other tribes know that you're looking for the Messiah to come back. He will be my high priest. I'm just saying this, but we're going to get this Romans 3, then we're going to get back on point. Hebrews 7:16. You must understand Hebrews 7:16. What you got back there, Sister Angie?
So Jacob, he was black too?
No.
Jacob was black.
Well, what we were talking about, he was our complexion.
Okay. What was Esau?
Esau was Caucasian. And what it comes down to is red and ruddy. Red means you have no melanin when the blood comes up. Ruddy is melanin in the skin, but when the blood comes up to your face, it turns mahogany. You can still see the red in Israelites. You can see the red in us if you really look. You say, since you said that, I can see the red in us. But they don't have no melanin. So when the red come up, you just see the red. Like when they drink, their nose and get red. When they blush, they turn red. You can see the redness coming up through the flesh because they don't have the melanin tone. So that's why when you look in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, red is only attached to Esau. Ruddy is attached to David and Solomon, who are Israelites. It's the only two groups you're going to see the difference in color. You're going to see ruddy, meaning red, with blood coming up through melanin, and it turns mahogany.
Prime example that if you get a bruise, you can see the redness.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
what I'm speaking of. You get a bruise, it'll kind of turn red, but you still see your kind of brown flesh. See, it's not a color game. The Bible is not about color game. Esau was the first person mentioned in the Bible that it technically mentioned his outer cup or appearance for a reason, because he has to go through prophecy. You can't miscegenate Esau out. You can't put no dark nation on Esau and miscegenate him out of prophecy. Prophecies must come to pass. If you miscegenate Esau out, then Jacob can't take his heel. If you say the Arabs are truly Esau and Edomites are in control right now, or who we're saying the white man is in control of the world, then he's got to relinquish it to the Arabs. He's got to turn over all his bombs. He got to turn over all his power and might to the Arabs, and then we take the Arabs' heel, Jacob, and we get it back. How much longer is that? Y'all tired of waiting? Y'all will wait a little more if you believe that concept. But it's not about sex or anything, intercourse turning a people away or turning. We have the blood covenant. That's what it means, the promises. It can't be miscegenated out. Esau has the lesser covenant. He controls the world today. He rules the world today. He's Genesis 36. He's the only group that's called dukes and Temans. Harry, King Harry, Harry and the other boys, dukes and Temans. Trading places with Eddie Murphy. There's always been a duke on the stock exchange. We ain't gonna have no nigga in here, y'all understand what I'm saying? But they're called dukes and Temans. They're identified as the book of Obadiah said all the way up. If you put the Arabs in the book of Obadiah, I'm waiting to see it. Because they still have to fulfill Obadiah. They still have to fulfill Romans 9. Isaiah, what is it? Amos 9:11?
Yes, sir.
The remnant of Esau, they still have to fit that according to prophecy. Not nobody talking about a miscegenation doctrine. It's just like if that was the case, like these camps say Bob Marley is a heathen. Because his father, Bob Marley Sr., was a white man. But his mama is an Israelite. No, Bob Marley is clearly an Israelite through their documentation. We can't dominate who he look like, who he act like, who he singing about. Got the Messiah mixed up, but they understand just like Thomas Jefferson had Sally Hemings and all her children was on the plantation. You don't move up to this level. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry's wife, her father's black. White. Yeah. Her mother's black. Her husband's parents are white. Their parents are white, and their parents are white. But guess what they worried about? That one black seed, her mama, could change the whole dynamic for the baby. That's why they left the thing. You're like, this racist move y'all just said. We got all this white and one black woman, and y'all scared to death what the baby gonna look like. Little Archie.
Right. Is he gonna get dark?
Look, yeah. Will he look like Archie Manning or Archie Bell of the Dramatics of the Dales? Which one? Which Archie? He gonna look like Archie of the Dales or the Dramatics. You know that Archie.
He read in there.
Yeah. Let's get it, y'all.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 3, and we're going to start the reading in verse 1.
I tell you, to clear this up, because a lot of people don't understand, go back to 2 and 27, then we'll read 3. Same Romans, chapter 2 and 27.
The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 27.
Yeah.
And shall not uncircumcision, which
I say 26, hit 26, yeah. 25, yeah. 25, yeah. 25, y'all, because I'm glad, yeah. We're going to stop at 25. And look, this is important to going into 3 and 1 because Paul just explained he was an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin. But he's going to use the word Jew that compasses all 12 tribes. Y'all understand? When we say Jew, that's just throwing all 12 tribes in. But if you ask Zebulon, he would say, I'm an Israelite of the tribe of Zebulon, but I rock fourth tribe. I believe the Messiah is coming out of Judah. I believe the Redeemer is coming out of Judah. Judah is the head tribe. Judah is the one that we have to look to, that where when David was fighting in 2 Samuel, when David was fighting Goliath's brother. This was after he had killed Goliath when he was 14, but he was scrapping with Goliath's brother who was a giant, and Goliath's brother was putting it on David. I'm talking about hitting the sword, David blocking it, but his legs getting weak. And they had the Israelites, David's nephew came and got it and cut Goliath's brother up, and they grabbed David. They said, you can't go out to war no more. If your light go out, the Messiah can't come through your bloodline. So they pulled David off the battlefield. And his younger nephew handled that Goliath. But David was a warrior to the end. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He thought he still could go out there and scrap with he said, I killed your big brother. I'll take you. But you done got a little longer in the tooth.
Right.
Reflexes ain't as quick as they was when David was that thing. And he was taking them blows. And they like, David said David grew faint. He was handling it, but his wind wasn't as long as he used to be. I mean, he was like Bobby Brown on stage, when he was trying to make a comeback. I'm talking about he was getting faint. You know, they had to come get David.
His heart was in
So,
it.
boy, look, his heart was in it, but he was running out of oxygen, bro. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 25.
Yeah.
For circumcision verily profiteth, if thou keep the law.
If thou do what?
Keep the law.
If you got, and what he meaning by this, he said, y'all arguing about circumcision, but if you committing adultery, you breaking circumcision rules.
Right.
Because it's you have hold of the covenant going into a space you shouldn't.
Right.
And you holding on to the covenant
Right.
of your man, so to speak. You understand what
Yeah.
we're saying? Trying to keep it as clean as possible
Please
as we
do.
can.
Yes.
But what this saying, if you do that, the covenant of circumcision don't mean nothing.
Right.
Go ahead.
But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee who by the letter and circumcision does transgress the law?
See, and what he's explaining too is just Israel's position. Had everything. Everything. And we broke more laws than all the nations around us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. What good is any of this? Are you railing on circumcision and you break the law?
Right.
It's like getting a mug shot in your fringes.
Right.
Turn to the right and you like this. You fringed up.
Yeah.
Turn to the left and you got all your fringes on, but you in there for robbery, pedophilia,
Right.
and
Boy.
robbing what's that store? A John store. What they call it?
What, Jimmy John?
No. What they sell? It's like a hustler store. What?
Oh, you talking about
You know what I'm talking
Wholesale.
about?
who?
Wholesale.
No,
Dr. John.
Dr. John.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But you
Yeah,
know,
that flew over the head too.
and that's funny because my brother went to the barber shop and got his hair cut, and he saw a brother in there with some fringes on. He back there in the audience. He saw a dude with some fringes on. He shalommed him up and was ready to dap him up.
Shalom, my
and
grace.
the dude damn near pushed him out the way. Talking about, no, I'm going over here. Wouldn't even acknowledge a brother shaloming him up, and he was in his fringes, but he didn't have his fringes on.
Right.
I'm shaloming you up so that let you know what cup I'm drinking from.
Right.
But it was more important for him that he have on the fringes, like being circumcised and not keeping the law.
Right.
Whether being uncircumcised and keeping the law. But you got these out of cup niggas out here that's
Yes, sir.
like that. And this holds true all day.
And what Paul is too is going over what we went over last week, the circumcision, like when all of the men were put to death 20 years and over, and Joshua had to circumcise everybody that was remaining that the Lord didn't put down in the wilderness, for they had not been circumcised. They were born in the wilderness, but they're 20 years old. Who forgot 8 days in the wilderness?
Right.
I'm talking about this man is 20 years old now, but they on the Lord's side because they with Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, now I got to bring y'all into the covenant. Y'all understand it. But y'all hadn't been circumcised. So they're 19 years, 22 days late of being circumcised. If they're 20, they'd have missed the 8-day circumcision.
Exactly.
And the Most High chose them in the wilderness. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Circumcision is only if you keep the law, especially up here. You got to circumcise this first.
Right.
Down there don't mean nothing. It's covered up in some shorts.
Right. Ain't no circumcision chickens. up
Shalom,
in
my
there.
D. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
No, they don't.
Verse 28.
Yeah.
For he is not a Jew.
For he is not a what?
He is not a Jew, which is one outwardly.
Oh.
Neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh.
Neither is that circumcision. See, but go ahead.
But he is a Jew, which is one inward.
Which tribe we talking about? See, because if you say this to heathen nation, then he's letting them in. I mean, then the writing would make you think it's talking about them, but it's not. They were never given the oracles or the promises.
Right.
Go ahead. What else to say?
But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart.
Of the what?
Of the heart.
Uh-huh.
In the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Yahweh.
So now he's explaining this is for all 12 tribes because he's only using Jew, which should only be for the 4th tribe. But he's lumping all 12 tribes in here.
Yes, sir.
That's how Paul is right. But he'll get individual when you want him to. Like Romans 11. He get individual if you need it. But right here, he's bringing all 12 tribes in. If y'all don't believe the promise of the covenant, all 12 of y'all, and that the 4th tribe has the power because Christ is coming through there, you will never understand. But 3 and 1 is finna clear up what he's saying. Read that 3, 1 through 3.
I'm going to read 1 through 4.
Go ahead, bro. Yes, sir. 1 through 9. Go ahead.
We got you, sis. The book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Yes, sir.
What advantage then hath the Jew?
Uh-huh.
Or what profit is there of circumcision?
See, then what advantage have the Jew? Which tribe? Which tribe?
Right.
Is he only talking 4th tribe here, or he talking all of them? Because the promise wasn't just to the 4th tribe.
Right.
Go ahead, what it say?
Verse 2.
Yeah.
Much every way.
What way?
Much every way.
Uh-huh.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yah without effect?
Yes, sir.
Yah forbid.
Yah forbid.
Yeah, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
Yes, sir.
But if our righteousness commend the righteousness of...
Read that again.
But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of Yah, what shall we say? Is Yah unrighteous who taketh vengeance? I speak as a man.
See, and that's what he's saying. If I keep sinning, you know, and ain't understanding what I'm doing, or just saying God know my heart, that's going to be a problem.
Exactly.
Then where does the righteous stand at this point? Why should they keep the law? If you keep getting to break the law and you say, why should the righteous even worry about it then?
Exactly.
What advantage do they have at that point?
Right.
You breaking the law every day and say, well, God know my heart and I'm once saved, always saved. Then what about the righteous who keeping the law? What they saying? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
Yah forbid.
Uh-huh.
For then how shall Yah judge the world?
That's the question then. So if everybody get to escape judgment day, what's the reason of even being down here today trying to even learn anything? Why are we wasting our time? All you got to do is say, I'm a believer, I'm out of here. Class should be, everybody walk through. You believe it? Yep. You can make a U-turn. You believe it? Yep. You can make a U-turn. Because you're in at that point. If that's all it took, if you just say I'm a believer, but it say the doers of the word.
Right.
More than just the sayers of the word. You need to, love is an action. It's not a feeling. It's an action. If you love me, do what?
Keep my commandments.
That's action, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing the devil's work. You feel like that? No. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
For if the truth of Yah hath more abounded through my life unto his glory, why yet am I also judged as a sinner? And not rather as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil, and good may come.
Y'all see that? What's wrong with celebrating this Halloween? The children, it's for them. What they get good out of it? Candy with pins in it?
Right.
Razor blades and apples? Buttock scotch? You know, instead of butterscotch, they unwrap it and wipe between their rear and wrap it back up. You want some buttock scotch, and here's one for you. And it, my stomach hurt. Yes, it does. It should hurt. Go ahead, bro. Right.
Whose damnation is just.
Yeah.
What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin.
Everybody under sin.
Yep. Nobody exempt.
See, so once you understand what Paul is saying, you be clear. Let's get to you then.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
As it is written, there is none righteous. No, not one.
There is none righteous. No, not one. And I'm talking about anybody that can say Abraham. Everybody you look in this Bible, there's a transgression label to them except the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Every prophet, every individual in here, or they wouldn't have a tombstone. You understand? Christ didn't have no tombstone. He was put in another man's grave.
Right.
You have to understand that what that means. There ain't no grave marker that say Yeshua lies here.
Right.
The rich man gave up his spot. But he wasn't going to be there long. And what I want to tell y'all real quick, y'all, and we're just going to get to the next question. 2 Samuel 21. This is about David, so y'all understand again why fourth tribe is so important. And when you read Hebrews 7:16, I want y'all to really understand Hebrews 7:16. Because the promise to Abraham was before Levi was ever thought of or even conceived. Levi is his great-grandson. And Abraham was already paying tithe. Mm-hmm. Tithing didn't just come with Levi. Levi's on the second half of this.
Right.
Tithing was in Melchizedek. Upon your increase and a cheerful heart. You can't give begrudgingly. I don't know why he keep asking me. And he I told the preacher last week, my light's about to get cut off. And he said, where you going? There'll be permanent light. Uh-oh. You don't need the sun or So I gave him my light bill money.
Boy.
Now we at Family Dollar trying to get some candles.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Then be looking for the street light. 21, we're going to start about 15. 2 Samuel, y'all, and this is what I wanted y'all to understand about David, how important that blessing was coming through the tribe of Judah, and why we say fourth tribe, y'all. It ain't just because we're saying Judah as being a descendant of Judah. What we're talking about is who has the scepter, what tribe he came out of.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why it was so rough on Judah and why Judah got the harder punishment? Because he said, I sent you in captivity by your doings. Judah saw what treacherous Israel was doing, all them 10 tribes, and he like, who showed y'all that? And it said Judah did worse than the 10 tribes. They became named as treacherous Judah. Mm-hmm. This is the devil working because he know the Messiah got to come through that. But Judah doing worse than the other ones.
Yeah.
Let's get some more. That's why Judah went into hard bondage, yoke around the neck. 2 Samuel 21:15.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 21, and verse 15.
Yeah.
Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel, and David went down, and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines.
Hold on, here a few pages.
Everybody there? All right, we'll start 15 from the top.
Yes, sir.
Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel, and David went down, and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint.
What did David do?
He waxed faint.
Y'all know what faint mean? You mean like you about to pass out. David waxed faint mean he grew faint. The war, that was a tense battle with that giant. Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
And Ishbibbenah, which was of the sons of the giant, the weight of whose spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight. He being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him and smote the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David sware unto him.
What they do?
They swore unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel.
See, and that's why they had to pull David off the battlefield. If you die and don't produce no seed, you put out the light of Israel.
Right.
The Redeemer can't come. Y'all understand? So this is what I was saying. You know, like if y'all ever seen New Edition when they got back together, all of them was in shape except Bobby. Bobby was bending over and they called 911. They back there giving him oxygen and yeah. No, he only. Yeah, they say Bobby, it's your prerogative if you get in the back of that ambulance. So y'all, let's get back. We got the next question.
All right. Going on to this next question. I got it on screen. Next question. Should we be buried or cremated according to the Holy Manuscript?
Okay, so the question is always that we get that from a lot of individuals with highest funeral costs of the day. They start about 6,000 to 8,000, and that's just a standard.
Right.
And then you throw in burial costs. Funeral business is the highest business grossing because they ain't gonna never run out of work or clients. But this the deal. Naturally, we would bury, but the script say the seed is gonna give up his days, and some of them will be brought back to righteousness. Certain places gonna give up the dead. Naturally, if you're able to bury individual, but Christ was never buried in the earth, so to speak. And with Adam, what they had then was called mausoleums or caves. If they ran underground, but they wouldn't technically, they didn't throw dirt on top of them. They rolled a stone in front of it. It was a stone rolled in front of Lazarus, wasn't it? Lazarus didn't come out of there like on the Thriller video and climb up out the ground. They rolled a stone back and he said, Lazarus, come out of there. So if you're looking at technically buried in the earth, or you're talking about being concealed, that where no more of this life can be exposed to you or you exposed to it. Naturally, we should bury. But if you in an explosion, if you get ate up by an alligator, it ain't gonna be nothing left of you.
You don't want to see that.
You don't see that. And then, like say, if you're on a shipwreck, a lot of us threw ourselves overboard coming here into slavery. Millions threw themselves overboard. They're coming out of a watery grave. You understand? So it ain't like, yes, technically, you should put them in the ground. Technically, because you should go back to where you come from. But if you get cremated, you're going to turn to what? If you get buried and they dig you up, what are you then? Dust. You still going to return to dust. Look, we never embalmed our people. But guess who was embalmed? Jacob, while we was in Egypt. Their top morticians embalmed Jacob because we had to take him all the way back to the cave that Abraham purchased and bury him there. That was a journey, a couple days. They embalmed. Jacob had a funeral in Egypt, and then when we got back to the tomb that was purchased by Abraham. See, and they would open those things up and put you inside there too. Like mausoleums today, they'll put a whole family in there. So if you're looking at technically burying in the ground, yes, that would be the first choice. But if that can't be the case, then a grave is what a grave is. Look, where was Moses buried? No man knoweth to this day. And then how long did he stay buried? Because the book of Jude say, the book of Jude right before Revelation say, Michael the archangel went and got his body. From where? I mean, we know a general location, but no headstone is there. So technically, if you're able to bury in the ground, then by all means do so. But if it does not permit and you have to go another route, they gonna turn back to ashes. Y'all understand what makes sense? Look, we didn't embalm. So we got to get first pass, how was Jacob able to be embalmed? And the Lord didn't say it was out of sync or was out of touch. Certain things happen for certain reasons, for contamination reasons. You ain't got no embalming fluid, you ain't got nothing to preserve that dead body, it will swell up and explode. And I'm talking about it be pieces of body everywhere, kidney up over here on the stove, and you know, Y'all know how y'all already feel if somebody talking and while they eating and spit on your lip. And you be like, well, damn, will you look the other way or go in another room? I want to wipe my lips so damn bad and see what's on it. And yeah, man, I told him. Yeah, man, spitting. I'm talking about shower, man. I mean, you be like, damn.
And you sure don't want to lick your
But look, you back. Look here. So you can imagine if a dead body exploded on you, you would technically be unclean. You would have to be quarantined. You would have to be quarantined. What's the next question?
All right.
Hope that suffice. Because look, it say in the resurrections, and the sea shall give up its dead. Do we ever bury in the sea? And did it say that, and none of them buried in the sea shall be entered into the kingdom? No, it don't say that. It say when people die in the ocean, people die on Carnival Cruise. People, a young boy just jumped off. His father said, I believe he's still alive. He's an expert swimmer. Right. No. Unless he one of them 7 Chinese brothers that can drink up the sea. You remember that? He dead. Yeah. Some of y'all too young to know about the 7 Chinese brothers. Look at Tyler looking at me. The 7 Chinese brothers. It's way before your time, Tyler. Yes. Go ahead, bro.
All right. Next question. Next question is, they started off with Mark 9:42. It says, is abortion forgivable knowingly or unknowingly accomplished? I guess your will.
So 942 is basically saying if you touch any one of these little ones,
right? That's
a child old enough, or that he's under the age of accountability, but he's been born.
Right.
He's physically out of the womb. Right. Abortion is called killing the conception. Let's just understand what it means, killing the conception. But before we even get to that matter, judge it, the Most High say you have to always go back to the beginning. So we have to go back to before the conception happened. Was that legal? Because that's where we got to start laying the charges before you get to the aftermath of the conception. We got to see, how was you talking about when my parents go, the back door going to be unlocked? We need to talk about that first.
Right.
And then when you get in here, did you bring your protection? And then did you bring your protection? Them pills. So no, I ain't got mine either. So now you call and say, I missed that month. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. I thought you said you had your protection. I thought you said you had your protection. Right. So now we're in a dilemma. How do we get out of this transgression? Do we go pay? See, that's secondary. Consciously, you got to start thinking, we finna kill the conception that we made, But the first part, we have to get to what caused conception. Mm-hmm. And that's activity first, before that crime comes into play. Then we'll get to that crime. But that don't happen for individuals who are legally married. They don't do it. They can't do it unless there's certain circumstances that the mother will die, or the child will die. But they don't go to them clinics. Those clinics are for people who make mistakes and don't want responsibility. Right. So knowingly or unknowingly is not the question. We got to get to verse 1. How did it happen? Was it rape? We got to start there and see, do we judge from there and then go to the conception? Because law is anything inside the womb is kind of related to how a penalty is almost like fines, is like civil lawsuits. Because it say if 2 men strive and one man's wife is pregnant, and while they're scrapping and throwing heavy blows, she get an elbow while they scrapping. And it says she has a miscarriage. It is based then on the condition. Did she get pulled in the way? Did her husband put her in the way? I can't take these blows no more. You get in front. Maybe he won't hit you. He see you pregnant. Because he's wearing my ass out. Or, men put women in the front. See? Or, they scrapping so, and the blows are going so heavy then whatever that child, if that family, based on their family wealth or their position, they would calculate what that child possibly could have brought wealth to the family, and then they label that as punitive damages. Like 33 million for what OJ did. Found innocent of the murders. But when the civil trial came up, they said there's less of preponderance of evidence that you have to prove. All you have to do is say, well, we know he caused it. We can't prove he's the one doing the slashing, but we know he orchestrated everything. He conspired to do it. So punitive damages, this young man had a career set up. He was going to do this. This woman had a career set up and she had her children. So civilly, we're going to sue you for what they would have been if they had lived to retirement age. We're suing you for that amount. That's what the law says. And that's what the law say in here. If a woman have a miscarriage or whatever, it's based on the condition and what happened. Did he just, I told you, you better let me in fight. He starts slapping and hit her with a body shot. Then he got to pay eye for eye then, because he technically hit a pregnant woman and knew she was pregnant. Like these crazy individuals today, shoot a pregnant woman. They're charged with murder of 2 individuals at that point. You shot her in the stomach, but if he didn't know she was pregnant, it may be lesser charges, involuntary manslaughter on that one if she 8-9 months pregnant. But it's all based on y'all situational, what happens, and the law is broke down specifically so that nobody don't get overcharged. And numbers 35 was the safety zone in case somebody, no, he killed her. And we don't know she was pregnant. So they had to move these individuals to safe zone until their trial. Because just like you thinking now, man, nigga hit my pregnant daughter, it's going to be me and him. That's what you'll say right now. So that individual wouldn't have a chance in court because you done already say, I'm finna be the judge and jury. Right. But numbers 35 keeps us from being the judge and the jury because it allows a safe space to these individuals get to court. And then we'll deal with it like we're supposed to, and that get rid of street justice or personal vengeance. Right. Hope that answered that. What else you got, bro? But you can get into the, I believe it's the book of Nicodemus that's talking about killing of the conception. See, a lot of people try to say abortion is sacrifice to Molech. 2 totally different things. Molech, a married woman and a married man get together. They say, we're going to have a baby. And when that baby's delivered, both of you and I have already signed a contract. We're going to give it to the priest, and they're going to sacrifice it to Molech, and then we'll be blessed forever. That's a planned deal for that baby. Abortions or whatever we do go to the clinic, it's mistakes. It's mistakes, and that's why he's saying circumcision mean nothing if you don't mean it. If you circumcise and you talking about, I thought you was on the pill, what did circumcision do for you? Y'all understand what Paul is saying? See, Paul is talking in the consciousness, Melchizedek, and everybody attacking Paul is still in the flesh. They don't want to be accountable for their transgressions. So you make somebody else at fault. But no, the Most High always go back to the beginning. I want to see what y'all was thinking when y'all was making googly eyes at each other. And he was whispering naughty nothings. Talking about drinking water that's dirty. Y'all know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna go no further.
Yeah, stop it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Next question, humble servant asks, we know a Proverbs 31 woman is the ideal woman to have with this walk with Christ. Are there any more characteristics as a righteous woman could have or should have walking side by side of a righteous man? So
we're talking about Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman. First thing to do is always look up a word when you don't know what it means. Don't go to the next verse. So we have to look up virtuous. So if you will, look up virtuous. Anybody, just Google virtuous. So we understand what that means. And then we can address the scripture from that point on because we have an identifying marker to tell us how to look at it, right. You know. Because a virtuous woman could be Rahab the harlot. She could be a virtuous woman. If y'all understand what she did and how she was saved and her whole household.
Right.
Let's see, I got something Google right here. Let me see. What is that? What
Huh?
that's virtuous. Okay.
Yeah, just a word. It don't matter. Every word in the dictionary, because Satan like to do it. Anybody you ever talk about any word in the dictionary is always going to give the spiritual meaning and then a flesh meaning of every word. So you can't say the language tricked me. It's always going to be two definitions. Like holy. If you look up holy, I don't care if Merriam-Webster, it'll say holy. Worthy of honor, worship, and reverence. That's not the holy we can be. And then the second definition says holy, completely devoted to one's deity. That's what Christ was. He was completely devoted to the Father. So we can be that holy, completely devoted to the Father. But we can't be the first holy, meaning worthy of honor and reverence and worship. We can't never get or make ourselves feel that we're that holy. Like if you say, no, man, that's Charlie. Man, Charlie can't do no wrong. Charlie done did wrong with you. You even got that thought process in your mind to even say that. What it say, virtuous? Well, y'all having a hard time? What dictionary y'all pulling up?
I had it up when I switched.
Come on, that's like a cricket phone. Y'all using mosquito definitions, ain't you? Y'all done went lower than cricket. What it say? Go ahead. I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say having or showing high moral standards.
Having or showing high moral standards. So understand that again. In control of their shame. That's what a virtuous woman is. Okay, now you read in the book of Sirach, 25, talks about the wife that is not virtuous, that cause problems. 26 is statutes and judgments that runs through what a virtuous wife is. The book of Susanna tells you, and it says no shame. And what we're talking about is wherever she go, and that's why I say her husband has no spoil of her. He ain't worried about that she going to the store. What I'm worried about, Slick Willie walking up to her and asking her, I see you married. She say, yes, I am. But are you happy? What does that mean? Right. Look, now, so they see the ring already and they ask her, yeah, she already told him I'm married. But are you happy? What does it mean? Now, if she just came with these, you know what? I ain't happy. That little small house we live in, and you know, we got that dog chained to the tree and feed him once a week, and he done literally talked and said he could hunt more food than we feed him, and the children ain't got no shoes, and they've been swapping clothes. Hell no, I ain't happy. Watch him disappear down the next aisle. So all he asking is happy, are you sexually satisfied? That's all that it means. So what he's doing is introducing adultery to you and see what you bite. That's not virtue because she wouldn't hide her shame. And what we're talking about is shame is no disrespect of my husband in public. What you got over there, Noah? So speak a little louder, Noah. What happened now? You taking your shirt off. Yeah, you a youngin'. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand what you're saying. Hex is still sticking out with no push-ups. Go ahead. Yeah, we know what you're saying. Go ahead.
I'm sure y'all what I'm doing. I was playing around.
Yes.
Shirt off and I was being free.
Yeah. She said being free. Go ahead.
Did he say being freak?
No, free. Oh yeah. No, he wasn't listening to no Jodeci. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead, Noah. We listening to you.
They were white, but I was doing it for the females. But then I was like, I found out that I almost she married, dog.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah.
Crazy, because I was so mad, I was being like fun, you know what I'm saying? But I found she was married, though. I was like, damn.
Right.
But she was still giving you play though, huh?
No. I
What?
said, man, I can't do it. I told her, man, I don't do adultery. So I stopped doing it.
Absolutely. So, and that's a young man that's wise already, because that was the devil setting him up, getting him ready for Trey Songz type of attitude, Mr. Take Your Gas. You know, so he was gonna be listening to heavy doses of that in rotation. You know, but that's what Joseph faced, what he faced with Pharaoh's wife. She was doing everything and he refused. He said, if you kill me, you can threaten my life all you want, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna break God's commandment. And he got locked up for 12 years for turning it down. So, but a virtuous woman means she won't shame her husband in public. And that's the modest apparel. You can't regulate what a woman should wear or what you say that's modest apparel, because it's still up here. She can have a robe down to her feet. Right. The nuns, do you know there's 1 million babies under the Vatican that's had by nuns? So technically the only meat the Pope eat is none, huh? What you got back there? Absolutely. So that's what we're talking about, y'all, is when we get down to, are there any virtuous women left? And the deal is, it's shame, protecting your shame. And that don't mean looking down like this. See, they think, because there's a shame-faced man. If a man is shame-faced, a man don't walk like this. What it means is that in her face, you won't see her shame that she's committed with her husband. The shame, she'll never disrespect, because in Acts 19 chapter, we got Aquila and Priscilla. That was a husband tag team match that was going out spreading the gospel. And it said they both showed Apollos a better way. That meant she knew the order. She knew that I'm not going to leapfrog him. If he need assistance, brother, now what I'm trying to tell you, she said, baby, you want Isaiah 15. Thank you, baby. You want Isaiah 15. And then he go there and he explained. He still, it's the man and then the woman, but they tag team, and you understand? Right. She's not a usurping authority on him publicly. So he has, it's like the virtue, it say, her husband have no want or not spoil when she go out. Say, plus this, she got her own little side business she running. He ain't worried about her making that little money on the side or nothing like that, because she understands the hierarchy. This is for the household. If I can't trust you to go out here and make no money, I still can't go make no money, because I ain't going to be able to trust you at home. Right. I'm worried about the milkman, the mailman, the gas man. Yeah, any man. Any man. Yeah. So when you read Sirach 25 in the Apocrypha, it tells you of the woman that creates a lot of drama for her husband. And then you got Sirach 26 that tells you this is what a virtuous woman does. And nothing, it ain't about wearing no clothes. It ain't about sitting women on this side and men on that side. You could be thinking whatever you thinking with women separated. That ain't going to stop your thought process. Not at all. It don't stop it now, do it? It don't stop it from nobody else. She can have a dress down to her knees. You think that's going to stop him? In his mind is what you working with up under them big robes. Right. What you say, well, you can put a skirt on that pole. This pole right here. And they'll be trying to look up under what you working with, Slim. Covered to their, look, Muslim women covered from head to toe. They got a grill over the eye. But guess what? You'll see them getting beat to death for adultery. Public in the public square with that whole thing on. That whole thing being beat to death. But give me a little bit of Sirach 42. I just want to read this about understanding. This explains also just the virtuous woman, that there's a line she can't become. Like you hear Steve Harvey say, think like a man but act like a woman. That's impossible. Right. To think like a man and act like a woman. That's a transvestite. Sirach 42 and 14. Okay. So what we're talking about is like, you can't think like a man and act like a woman. That's impossible. You're going to, that's like putting one of them Hemi motors in a Volkswagen. It's too powerful for her to think like a man because he has a different set of responsibilities that he has to think about. You understand? So we have to be careful of that when you hear all of these things, that they're not the truth. Because you still keep thinking like a man, you're going to act like a man. If a man thinks like a woman, he going to act like a woman. If he keep thinking like a woman. He going to want to wear what women wear.
All right, family, the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 42 and verse 14.
I tell you, start about, and this is because we started when they're young, verse 9. We're going to expound on verse 14, though. Start about verse 9. Okay.
The book of Sirach, chapter 42 and verse 9.
Yes, sir.
The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth. And the care for her taketh away sleep.
See, because every father don't want to hear nothing about his daughter. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, see, a lot of times a father, you hear his son is, having activity like, that's my boy. But if you hear his daughter having activity, it's going to be a problem. I'll kill her dead. She bet not. And see, there was a law. If a man's daughter came home pregnant to his house, he would spit in her face. He would say, you so disrespectful. You done gave away our inheritance and you back here with me. So you done brought another mouth here for us to feed. And where is the man? And that's why when you understand Proverbs 30 and 20, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth. So I'll get into that a whole nother time. But it's something there for that, if you understand. But like my one partner told me, he said his sister went out on a date. And she came back in about 1:45. And the mama could hear her rumbling through the refrigerator looking for LOs, leftovers. She came in there. She said, close my damn refrigerator. She said, let me tell you one thing. You go out with a man and he feed one mouth and don't feed the other, don't you come back here no more with that. That's how I have to say it, y'all.
Verse 9 from the top.
Yeah.
They done forgot.
Yeah.
The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth. And the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young.
When she is what?
When she is young. Lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated.
See, and if she passed the flower of her age, meaning that the time she's able to produce children. If she ain't got no husband, unless she be hated, and she's doing certain things,
right?
That could bring hate to the father's household. He'd be like, girl, what? If somebody just showed up at your door right now, yes, sir, how may I help you, young man? Some girl in there named Sally. Tell a playboy out here.
With his pants.
With his pants. No, that's going to be you at the wrong address, young man. You got to be at the wrong address. Some girl named Sally. You got to be at the wrong address. And what are you planning on doing with this girl named Sally?
Right.
Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
In her virginity.
In her what?
Her virginity.
Lest
she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. And having an husband. Lest she should misbehave herself. And when she is married, lest she should be barren.
So all of those were the three things that was concerning this issue that a father twists and turns at night about his daughter. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter.
See, what father want to hear Sexy Red as my daughter? See, I don't know how. Man, it's about the paper, dog. I mean, what do you still say? See that Bentley out there, dog? That's what got that paper, but still, Do that shame, is there any shame amongst what's happening with that, and you would be proud of it? Go ahead.
Lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemy.
Laughing stock to thy enemy. What man want to see a bunch of men doing like that? T-H-O-T. Thought. And y'all know what that word means. Some of you don't, is old school, but that's her right there. Who want to see that as a father for a daughter? Go ahead.
And a byword in the city.
And a byword in the city. Thought. Whore. Hooker. Skeezer. Tackhead. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Who want the daughter to be called the byword? What father? Go ahead, bro.
And a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Behold, not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women. For from garments cometh a moth, and from women wickedness. Better is that churlishness of better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman. A woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach.
So that's all it's saying. Better is a churlish man. Churlish man is like Nabal was.
Mm-hmm.
But his wife was a good woman, Abigail. See, that was a difference, a woman with a churlish husband. But she was a good wife, and she still protected him because he's a drunk. She said, yeah, his name mentioned he's a fool, but he's got to be, if he want David, he know you finna take over Israel, and you've been taking care of his sheep, and he won't do this. She gave them cakes and raisins because David was finna slaughter every male in her house. Mm-hmm. And she didn't keep it a secret. She just said, I'm gonna wait till he sober ups because I can't talk to him when he fool. He's churlishness, but it's saying that man is in a better state, crazy like that, than for a woman to lose her shame. And see, that's why you can't think like a man, because a woman can't pull what Aunt Esther pulled on Fred. You understand what I'm saying? It can't be what she does to Woodrow. See, that's out of order because you can't never raise her hand up like this. Nor, if the script say there can be no striker, a man that like to hit a woman. Who gonna hold his hand up like this? And the champion, once again, of 2 black eyes and a bloody nose to his woman. Earl at the tire shop is still the champion. Who gonna hold his hand up? You know, because he in a contest, you know, he always gonna win, and you can't be rewarded for that. You know, you pounding out the weaker flesh, neither can it be switched around where the weaker flesh is trying to take on the stronger, because it'll get crazy, it'll get rough, and somebody's going to get killed immediately.
Yep.
Because ain't no man really a stand there and listen to that. Because if you go out to any place or somewhere and a woman steps in a man's place, she may be used to doing that to him, but this man don't understand that, and guess what she gonna do thinking like a man? She gonna turn to her man. Did you see that? He hit me. And what he's supposed to say at that point was, shit, you ought to keep your damn mouth closed. You know, or should he defend her? Look, see, and this is what we're talking about. So, shamelessness, like, if y'all go out anywhere, will she wear an outfit that makes other men do like this? Damn! And he's standing there, what he's supposed to do? He got a pistol on him because he can't tell her, don't wear that. Don't wear that. I'm wearing what I want to wear. God gave me this body. And he's like, damn. And he stick that 9 in his waistband. For what?
Yeah.
You understand what these scripts, because they deal with every situation. So a virtuous woman is one who will not shame her husband publicly. That don't mean y'all won't have no disagreements in the household, but what we're talking about public. Earl, what I tell your ass the last time we went out and we was at your buddy's birthday party, and I had to tell your ass then. Now I'm gonna tell you in front of the preacher and all these other people, your frat brothers, and that's no shame. That's disrespect to your head, so to speak. But that's why 1 Corinthians 11 come in and say, but the man is not without the woman. Neither is the woman without the man. You're both in God. You can't do it without each other. It's virtually impossible to do it without each other. So you have to be on a level where there's a respect for both individuals that make it whole and make it stay one. You know, but there is a 51% rule goes to the man. The most the woman can have in a relationship is 49%. 50-50 is roommates. Now there's 50% that each have responsibilities. A woman 50% and a man's 50% given in Genesis 3:16 and 3:17. Those two things, they're both bringing 50% to make 100 of the marriage. But there's a hierarchy. There's a head of household that can never be given to the woman unless she's a widow. But you can't tell her to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're ready. Baby, that may be Ray now. Shit, I'm sick of them keep coming around here looking for you. I'm going to the door, and she opened the door at 3 o'clock in the morning. What the hell y'all want? And they say nothing now. Shit. That's a problem. You know. That'll be a major problem in the household. You understand? Ray and them like, we're going to kill that nigga, but his woman came, boy, lips scowled up and looking like a gorilla sucking on lemons. We took off.
I can remember me and one of the brothers working on a property, and we saw this brother on the bus stop, you know, with that ghetto luggage, them green plastic trash bags.
Yeah, ghetto
and
luggage.
Said,
yes, sir.
Look like you just got put out. And then this girl come walking down the street with a baby on her hip, and she start going in on that brother and telling him, get your ass up and get on back to the house. She must have put him out and then went and got him because she needed the babysitter. But then she was going out and talking to him bad, and we were just looking. Then she spit in his face.
No, boy.
I said, man, what is he going back there for?
Yeah, shit.
You know?
Well, why he's going back there is because of the same thing. He's lost his position. Usurping authority has become over him because he refused to grow up. So she's his mother in a sense that she's thinking like a man. She's doing to him what a father would do to a child because she's raising him like a child. You know, it's these build-a-bear programs. Like, I'm going to build him up to be a better man. You build him up to lead. Right. As soon as he get on his feet, he out the door. So we have to understand these things. But hit a little bit Numbers 12, y'all. And this the deal with where the Most High make women prophetess. They make women prophets. There's women who teach, but they can't teach in the assembly. They teach, the script say they teach the younger in the household, but they can't lead a congregation. So it say elder women or women teach the children. Don't it say that? That's a training process, ain't it? But it say you can't usurp authority in the assembly. And usurp means to take total control of and overpower. That don't mean a woman can't say anything in the church. It just means they can't usurp authority. Give me a little Numbers 12 and 1. We're going to see about this right here. Because Miriam, Aaron's sister, was a prophetess. And it was known. But we're going to see what happened. That when she leapfrogged Moses.
The book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 1.
Yeah.
And Miriam and Moses spake against, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
See, this is why we have to really look at when you're saying don't marry nobody else outside your right. Moses is the lawgiver, right? He got the law from the Most High. He wrote Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Don't intermingle. But he's already got a wife from another group of people. See, why we don't look at that is because she's dark-skinned. She's an Ethiopian, so you probably give him what? Well, at least she black. It ain't got nothing to do with this. This is about nationhood. So Miriam and Aaron is screaming on him, wait a minute, how you going to write Deuteronomy 7 and 6 and you got Zipporah and she's a Cushite. She's an Ethiopian. Mm-hmm. But see, that woman saved Moses' life when he was on his way to go tell Pharaoh to let the children go, and he had circumcised his son. So this woman of another nation took a sharp stone and circumcised the baby. Moses was finna be killed before he got to Pharaoh. Before they was finna check in at the inn at the hotel, Moses say, send an angel, go get it. How he gonna tell Pharaoh to act right and he's already breaking the law? His son ain't circumcised. Because all Pharaoh had to do was snatch that pamp up. How dare you come in here with these orders? And this boy has the blunt look. Get the hell out of here. I'm going to leave it at that, Mike.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And they said, hath the Most High indeed spoken only to Moses?
Uh-huh.
Hath he not spoken also by us?
Uh-huh.
And the Most High heard it.
Who heard it?
The Most High heard it.
Uh-huh.
Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
So meek means mild manner. Meek don't mean weak. Weak is a sum total. Meek means patient man. Long with understanding. You know, he take it to the last minute before he act. But we know he ain't no chump because he killed that man that had attacked that bro and his wife and buried him in the sand. He handles his business, so he just take longer to get riled up, so to speak. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And the Most High spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam.
Yeah.
Come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation.
Uh-huh.
And they three came out.
Right.
And the Most High came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle.
Uh-huh.
And called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Most High, will make myself known unto him in a vision.
Yes, sir.
And will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
Uh-huh.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speech.
Right.
And the similitude of the Most High shall he behold.
Right.
Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses.
Uh-huh.
And the anger of the Most High was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Uh-huh.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
So they're saying, why did she get punished and not Aaron? And the deal is, she said, God talks to me too. So she's usurping authority here. Yes, Miriam, you are a prophetess, but you don't supersede Moses, and you looking for fault in Moses to supersede it. So you went to his marriage. You talked to Aaron and say, he married that Ethiopian heifer. Old black-ass Ethiopian woman. Like women say, old white-ass woman, you know, he married her. But this, and they're saying, then married that old black-ass Ethiopian woman. That's what they were saying back then. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same level of things that was going on. So she usurped authority. So even though she was a prophetess, she spoke against the man that God had set in place to run things. Her and the brother. Read a little bit more.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us.
Lay not the what?
The sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
And you see, Aaron is coming quickly with correction. He apologizing for her. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed.
See,
when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
So he's talking about a miscarriage. So if the baby had, every baby is born technically with white skin until their pigment comes on. So if usually women have a miscarriage in the 5th or 6th month, you may be darker in some areas than on the other area of the miscarriage baby. You understand? So he says, just let her is one that was born a miscarriage. Let her be like that versus her having to take this punishment. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
And Moses cried unto the Most High, saying, Heal her now, O Elohim, I beseech thee. And the Most High said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face.
If he had did but what?
Spit in her face.
Like we read in Sirach 42. Go ahead.
Should she not be ashamed 7 days?
Uh-huh.
Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days.
See, and he did her just like a father would do. I don't want to see you. I only want to talk to you.
Go to your room.
Go to your room. You pregnant in my house? Girl. Go ahead. What else to say?
And after that, let her be received in again.
So they didn't move until she came back into the 7 days, but she didn't fat mouth no more. Truly, she was a prophetess. She prophesied, but she leapfrogged the order to bring Moses down a peg. To say you married that woman that you said in Deuteronomy 7 and 6, don't intermingle with them. Look, we should stay with our own tribe. But love can't be controlled.
Right.
It's who you feel about, who you feel about. The only person or people who can't do it that everybody run to a scripture is in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. That's about the high priest. They absolutely couldn't marry outside of that. And that's how Miriam was looking at Aaron. You couldn't have did it. How he get to do it? You couldn't do it. You have to marry somebody out of the tribe of Levi. And that's what it's telling you about the high priest. They couldn't, look, you couldn't be no high priest if you had a flat nose, you had a crooked foot, a knee was out of joint, your arm kept doing like this. You couldn't be no high priest because you had to be almost perfect, so to speak. They could only marry virgins. They couldn't marry a widow or a divorced woman. The high priest could. You understand what I'm saying? Because they had to be the closest thing to God among men.
Right.
So what she did is she leapfrogged that because Aaron was a high priest. You the high priest? How that nigga gonna do what he want to do? The Lord heard it. He like, oh, y'all come out here. And Moses had to end up praying for her. But what we're saying is sometimes people are in relationships with individuals. You can't just tell them to go get a divorce because they married somebody of another race. That's not in the scripture. Who was Bathsheba married to? Huh? Y'all wait? Uriah the Hittite. He's a Hamite. He was also one of the 13 guards that guarded David's bed at night. Bathsheba was an Israelite. What is this Hittite doing guarding David's bed and then married to Bathsheba and is legal? Y'all understand? But naturally we should stay with our own, but sometimes things get in the way. You in America and know what it's like and you get involved or you find a relationship with a white person. Look, y'all know that drama's coming in America. You almost have to try to find a spot where that's accepted. But drama's coming in America, some form of either sisters looking at you in the mall, look at that motherfucker, I didn't say that.
Enough.
Okay, yeah. Holding hands.
Right.
Black mother.
Yeah.
You know, so you're attacked. And on her side, all the white people, when they see her walking through Chesterfield, look at this nigga lover. See, but if your love surpassed that, you already know we have to deal with this in the nation. It's not illegal because the script also say if Israel at war and they see a woman of a beautiful nation they just conquered, he could take her to his wife if he find favor. But these are the rules. She got to pare her nails and cut her hair off, which is a woman's glory, and her nails. That's why they get their hair and nails done on time. And you have to let her mourn her family for 30 days.
Right.
Then she can be your wife. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Law, y'all, not interpreting it just to mean some black power movement. Yes, it would be better to stay with your own, but if you happen to get outside of that, as long as the stranger accepts the will of God, then you're good. Solomon didn't do that. Solomon let his strange wives tell him to worship their God.
Right.
And he has so many of them, he just like, just leave me alone. What's this one named Buddha? What's this one named Astaroth? And what's this one? Just do y'all thing. Just leave me the hell alone. So he was just marrying because he had the power to. And nations, when they come into affiliation, they would always give you their daughter. And instead of him turning the daughter down, he made allegiance with him and let him build high places, chemos in the temple. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it got crazy. But we finished that. But real quick, so y'all understand this, just last one. Judges 14. And this gonna help explain it too, because all the parents knew. But if it comes down to a point that where you can't make no decision, they're like, when I get old enough, shit, I'm going to Vegas anyway. I'm gonna do it with or without your permission. What you gonna do when they grown? Yes, you would want them like that, and we want that because of the things in the world that happen. Y'all understand that if they saw y'all together, what they would do if y'all in South Carolina?
What chapter?
Oh, we're going to Judges 14 chapter, 14 and 1. Real quick, y'all, and y'all going to see something here, and we're going to see about the parents, what they did, and what the parents said. And this is our mighty man, y'all, the man who was supposed to be a deliverer for us. Go ahead, what it say?
We're in the book of Judges, chapter 14 and verse 1.
What it say?
And Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines.
Who was she a daughter of?
Of the Philistines.
Uh-huh.
And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore, get her for me to wife.
See, even though it's a Philistine woman, he is doing things in a righteous order. He went to his mother and father and he said, prepare a wedding feast. See, you got Israelites out there, even though they won't go to no other race, they'll just take a woman and then they'll say intercourse is the marriage, and never even met father or mother, ain't even told their father or mother about this woman. They just come out of that room sweaty and talk about we's married.
Right.
No contracts, no formal ceremony. You understand? At least Samson is asking for a formal ceremony. Right. Let's get some more.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren?
Of the Danites, or the other Israelites, go ahead.
Or among all my people that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
What do she do?
She pleaseth him well.
Yeah.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Most High.
Who was it of?
Of the Most High. That he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel.
See, now we got a whole nother issue with Deuteronomy 7 and 6. This was set up by the Most High for Samson to get on the inside. He got to marry a Philistine woman. Do this make sense to y'all now? See, that's why it's one law for Israel and the stranger that's amongst us. Because they out there, they got to let go of what they believe and come on this side. If you happen to go that route. If you're in that current situation right now. But see, this will get so crazy that you could have an Israelite woman married to a Caucasian man, and you'll have Israelites teach that your husband can't teach you. You have to come to us. Do y'all hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that absolutely, what that does is relieve him of all his husband responsibility. What he gonna ask next? Can I go into the bedroom with her? When the last time you been in there with her? A month ago? No, wait 3 months. If you allow that to happen, that's not scriptural.
No.
David ain't never discussed with Uriah the Hittite or any of them things. Abigail didn't discuss that with David before her husband, who was still alive. This thing is about righteousness, and what we're talking about is the law stands supreme, and it makes adjustment for a situation that you find yourself in. Like most of our young black athletes get drug out of the city, put into the whitest university that where it ain't nothing but white women.
Mm-hmm.
The only black ones is the teachers. And they get drawn in there. Do they have to make that decision? No, but you got them coming at you 10 times a day. And they're coming with like I say, the university already told them, no attitude. No attitude. You can't be like where he come from. No attitude. And boy, you get a dose of 4 years of no attitude. When the draft comes, Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But but that's the bywords of the proverb they say about us. Because attitude means the shame is gone. Because it's public. You know, like if you see somebody in Sam's and he pushing a car and he hit the back of her heels, you stupid black mother, and everybody in the store turn around. You by yourself and you look down like shit, you won't even want to look at her. You be like, damn. What I tell you about running over my heel? Take your ass to the car. Go back and sit in the car till I get through shopping.
And don't let the window down.
And don't let the window down. He walk out. And he got them little boy shorts on. 2 socks pulled up to the knee. And he look back and I be like, player, don't look at me. You know? Yeah. I keep the cart off my heel. What you got, bro?
All right, next question is from a coachee. You can see, pull it up. Let's go back up to it. A coachee asks, why is it important to observe the Sabbath every 7th day in order to be able to count to Pentecost? Some brews honor the Sabbath, the Sabbath, once a month, which causes confusion when counting 49 days.
Well, it causes confusion if you're using a calendar, the lunar calendar, as a Sabbath. How many? 4. 38, 40. Let me give you one more. Here, I got you now.
Okay.
Come on, I already got you locked in. Okay. See y'all later. Bye, baby.
It's long,
See y'all
family.
later. Go ahead, bro.
That completed the question. Did you want me to reread it?
That was 33 through 40, right?
Yeah.
What was that number, sis? Hold on.
See,
One more time. Hold on.
No problem.
Sis, what's the
I just
number?
typed in the chat one moment, family.
Go ahead. What you got? What you got over there, bro?
Read the coachee's question again. She says, why is it important to observe the Shabbat every 7th day in order to be able to count the Pentecost?
See,
some Hebrews honor the Sabbath once a month, which causes confusion when counting 49 days.
well, see, why you gonna have confusion is when you have lunar calendar worship. Instead of just using it for the feast days, they use it for everything. See, the moon is the lesser light. The sun is the stronger light. The moon decreases in days. Certain years, it could drop off 11 days. The sun never misses its duty. It's the stronger light. It runs 364.5 days no matter what. The moon decreases, so you can't use it as a full week. So what they try to do, when you use the moon calendar, the Sabbath changes every week. You can only get 360 days per year, even if the moon ran 30 days a month, which it don't on most occasions. The sun runs its course. What do you do with the rest of the sun days? If it's running 360, what do we do with them other 4 days of the sun? What do you do with it? So the sun controls the weekly Sabbath. The moon controls our feast days and the Sabbaths within that. Because you can't get 5. What's 4 times 7?
28,
How many days in a month?
30, 31.
So how can you get 5 or you get, like we saying, a full Sabbath to the 5th Sabbath? You're only getting 4 out of that. It's going to force you to change and then get complete Sabbath. For Pentecost, you only going to get 34 or 36 or 54 days in your count. You can never do Pentecost unless you do a weekly Sabbath with the sun. And that's counting 7 complete Sabbaths after the Passover. Like Passover going to be Monday, right? April 22nd. We can't count that Saturday that's coming up after it because the Sabbath was 2 days ago on Saturday, right? So that would be only a 5-day week. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to skip that following Sabbath after Passover and wait till the next one and say 1 because that will be a complete Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And then you add 2 the next Sabbath. And when you end up, you're going to end up on June the 16th, I believe. June 16th. And it say 7 complete Sabbaths in one day. 7 times 7 is what? 49 plus 1 is 50. Feast of Pentecost always going to be on a Sunday, the first day of the week. Always going to be on that. So when you count complete Sabbaths, you're going to get June 16th. But if you're going off a lunar calendar, which the Sabbath day change every week, they say the Sabbath can be on a Tuesday. Next month it can show up on a Wednesday. What you going to do about your job? Right. What you going to do about anything? The Sabbath keeps switching on you like that. But that's only for our feast days because like the Feast of Unleavened Bread, it say after the 7th day, it has to be a holy convocation. You have to have it like a Sabbath. And that's where they're mixing things up at because Sabbath is mentioned in there. But when you start off on the feast days, Leviticus 23, verse 1 goes back to the Sabbath day in the garden. 7 days you must work and take 6 days you must work. Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. And the 7th day you rest. It starts off with what was in the garden, not what happened in Mount Sinai in the wilderness. You have to understand that's why it's labeled as the first feast day, the first true day of rest, and it's governed by the sun. Weekly by the sun. 7 days of the sun never failing to go up and down because the moon changes. But this is a perfect thing for you to understand. Let's get into the book of Enoch, chapter 71 through chapter 80. Will explain everything. They tell you both of these sun and the moon work together to complete 364 days, not 360 days, which the moon could only give you at its best if it ran 30 days every month for 12 months. It's the best it could do is 360. The problem is you got the sun that's got 364.5. What you gonna do with them other 4 days? What do you do with it? So then you move the sun above the moon. And the sun is the greater light, right? And it says the moon is the lesser light. So you usurp authority with the moon and put it above the sun, which controls the weekly Sabbath. See, week after Passover, after unleavened bread, or during that time, that's a holy convocation. We got to look at that Monday as a Sabbath. That ain't stopping the Sabbath that's coming 5 days later. On Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That Sabbath, that's still the original one. You just got an additional one because it's a feast day. Make sense, y'all? I hope it does. Yeah. I know it's kind of confusing. But the lunar calendar only controls feast day. It cannot control the Sabbath. It will not allow you to do the feast day that's coming following it. It's impossible to get 50 days from whatever day you're doing on the lunar calendar. It's impossible. 36 or 54 you're going to get.
You got that push question?
I got a push question. I got another question right before push question.
But we can only do one more. What you got? Okay. What was push question? I think push has sent me I thought we answered that push.
I think there's so many words you just did, but let me read it. Question is, Shabbat Shalom, can you show me in the scripture what to do in the situation where a husband is trying to keep the feast of unleavened bread, but the wife is not in the truth, yet nor does she agree with the removal of physical leavening for 7 days?
She said, don't know where you have, boy, you throw this bread away, your ass will be out of here. Right. We got to eat tomorrow. The hell is wrong with you? Right, How you deal with that is deal with it from the perspective it should be that we deal with the unblemished lamb, and it ain't nothing about the food getting the leavening out. That's why I'm saying you got to be careful talking about what you going to throw away or what you going to do, and you don't have to focus on the Messiah. Right. Look, and then we have to always go back to the beginning, like the scripture said. You're unevenly yoked. What happened with that? Did you come into the truth after y'all was already married and realize that we've been following law, and then she can't keep up with speed, how I'm speeding up? What joined y'all together first? That's where we have to start before you start saying she won't listen. Right. We have to understand, what did you agree to? Did she tell you she wasn't going to listen on that day? Did she say smooth words that had your ego pumped up? Were you called daddy and the man of my dreams and the prince in shining armor? You said all that, keep talking. what else you want? You know, so we have to start there first and see what happened because you have. But then the script explained that 1 Corinthians 7 deal with every woman and man situation being together, every situation. 1 Corinthians 7:7, and it tells you, if an unbelieving wife is pleased to dwell with you, don't put her away, for your words will sanctify her. In the long run, all she got to do is keep watching you. See, the problem is you may have just got out your third different religion. First, you was a Jehovah's Witness. Then you was a Muslim chasing Farrakhan. And then you was over in Buddhism. Now you a Hebrew Israelite. Right. See, and so she's looking at you change everything. You change more, you change your draw. You know, so that could be into play. So we have to first go back and see how did y'all get back together and what was understood when y'all became one flesh. Were y'all both in the same mindset, or did she then just say, you know, I just can't do this no more? But that same 1 Corinthians 7, if she be pleased not to dwell with you, then let her depart. For y'all not under bondage in certain conditions. You're not held and forced to stay with anybody if they say, I just can't do that Hebrew stuff. Right. Because you're forcing them, and this is a gift. Right. This is the love of the Most High. You shouldn't have to force nobody to love life. What you got over there, Sid?
So when me and my husband got married, he was Catholic and I was Baptist.
Right.
And everybody said, I don't know what you're doing because that ain't gonna work.
Well, it will work under religion because both of those were religions. And Catholic religion started the Baptist.
Well,
so
it really didn't.
Yes, it did.
It didn't work under religion.
See,
he'd go to Catholic church, and I went a couple of times, and I was like, I can't do the stand up, sit down stuff, and all that.
But what could you do?
Choir that could really sing, and
no, I'm saying, did you? What did you think about the confession, going in the booth and confessing your sin? He did.
I don't believe in nothing like that.
He did, right? But see, this is what we talked about at the beginning. Did you know that?
I didn't know about that.
So you didn't know nothing about his religion?
No.
So you just saw a man?
Yeah.
See, and that's what they talk about, diverse kinds of lust. You say 6'2" scrapping and work at GM. The hell with his religion.
Good job.
Good job. No, I'm just saying that could be the perspective.
Like he had some kind of church, you know.
What is what I'm saying?
Some kind of
so we get into things and we ain't did no research. See, and what happens is you want the wedding, but you don't want the marriage. See, and that's what happened with most women. They want the wedding. They want everybody there. They want to throw the bouquet. They want all that. But understand this. But the marriage part, I'm talking about till death do you part. That gets long and boring and wore out. That's the part that must be addressed because we got to take it to either one of us dead or we get a divorce because that's death of the marriage. It's still death. Because the law say if a man find no favor in this woman, he can give her a bill of divorce, then she can go be another man's wife. If he don't like her, she can't come back to him. That's the only way. You can't remarry her because the land will be defiled. Yep. So that's in the law. So it don't say you can't get it or you shouldn't because it's a lifelong covenant. But if it happens, things happen. You know, or it wouldn't be in there the fix that if this happened, you know, but there's rules for divorce. You know what I'm saying? So there's a separation time before you get divorced, just like there's a engagement time before you actually have the ceremony. There's a check out, make sure everything right before you get married and have everybody there and find out she's still married to Earl and he's supposed to get out the penitentiary tomorrow. Right. He's showing up at the wedding. Yeah. Or the separation at the end, you can be separated, but you cannot violate until they stamp the paperwork. Legally, you're still his husband. Don't care about y'all separated, living in different houses. You're still married to him. If something happened to him or her, and you can be living with somebody for 20 years, if y'all still legally married, that's who they coming to. They don't care about who, well, I've been with him or she been with me for 30 years. No, and then they'll tell him, and I don't want him at the funeral either. I don't want her at the funeral. And they have all that power until they sign and stamp that paper and say, officially. Separation is like engagement. It's just going to see if y'all can get it back together. If y'all can't, then we move to the final step.
But what I'm saying is so that there's still
That's what I'm saying, in that space called separation. That's why I'm saying let a man not put his wife away and just let her go. Because if she go be with another man, that adultery is yours, not hers. It's you that will be punished, not her. That's what Malachi 2 say. If you just put away, hell, I don't care where you go. Yeah, I don't care who you is. Yeah, your last name's still mine, but you let her go be with somebody else. All of whatever she does, if she do it 10 times a day, that's 10 times a day the Most High gonna bust your head, not hers. Yes, because you won't break it. You're allowing her to be in a threesome. Because she still has your name, you have to cut it. Yep. A young dog, you have to cut it.
Yeah. Well, my first husband, he moved in with a woman. And somebody's like, you need that. And I was like, I don't need a man. And I kept just going to church. I told him, I don't need no man. And I'm not going to do what he did. That two wrongs ain't going to make a right.
Right, but you have to end that. Right. See, and then he died, but did they come get you? Because whoever he's living with, they weren't going to deal with her. She has no power. She has zero power. They're coming to what we can see and record. All inheritance is on there. Everything is on there. And guess what? When they came to you, you could have told her, and you better not. If she come to the funeral, bar her away, call the police. You can actually stop somebody that they've been living with for the last 15 years from even coming into that same space. They won't get a quarter. They won't get nothing.
No, I had sued him for a divorce and married Kevin, the one I
right.
had now. And we went to the funeral together because they sent for me because all the insurance still have the name on it.
Well, okay, if your insurance, and he wasn't remarried.
He never married anybody.
So you were the last one. Now, by right, his next of kin should have came in. A brother, a sister, a mother, auntie, or a son.
Sure the two children I had got everything.
Right, that's who it was going to go to anyway if probate court has been challenged. But because if they were underage, then they have to turn it over to you for them. But you would have had to put that in a trust. You couldn't have touched none of that. None of that. You or your new husband. It would have been strictly the inheritance of his children. Make sense, y'all? Right. Because the Most High don't want us to play games. That's why he say, the hardness of y'all heart. Moses was just giving y'all, just let her go then if you're going to have them type of problems. Just let her go, you know. But that was the heart of her. It wasn't looking at the long picture because they weren't fulfilling all of the responsibility. They were just letting them go and let them be free with somebody else. Well, that's on the man because he's the head. So what you're doing is you can say you can go be in a threesome is technically what you're saying.
Since you got a question.
Wondering, so in the situation of divorce, you mentioned that separation period.
Yes.
So during that separation period, is there a certain time, or are we just talking about legally and waiting on, that paperwork? And then, is there any counseling or anything like that that's supposed to be taking place during that time, during this separation period, or are you just saying you just throwing it away?
Well, normally what a woman will do is go back to her parents' house because then she still has a covering. So speaking, if her father's alive, if not, and nobody else, she would kind of go to her son's house because that's what 1 Timothy 5 say. If you have this situation going on, you go back to a kinsman house where you can kind of be under the cover and respect it. But look, what 1 Corinthians 7 it said just don't let too much space get in there. Out of sight is out of mind.
Well, I really mean more or less with the relationship. Like, are they supposed to just say, okay, well, we just decided we just ain't gonna be together, and just let it go that, and then let that separation period? Do they do anything in that separation period?
Well, they can't do anything but end it. If you get to the point that where you say it just ain't gonna work, you can't just let it be a free for all. And just you do whatever you do because the public don't know, especially if in a public ceremony, they see you or him out in the public. They be pointing, ain't she married to her? Lord have mercy, Facebook. You all over there. Instagram, and why you ain't even looking. Look here, eating a salad like she's something special. Look right there, y'all. I'm going live.
It still has to be some type of decency.
Well, say don't let too much space get in there for your incontinence. I'll say 1 Corinthians 7:7. So what it's saying is, if you allow Satan to get in there, he's going to get in there. because your friend's gonna say, girl, it's been long enough. It's a guy here, you know, he been promoted. You know, he worked for the landscaping company. He got promoted though. He's the branch manager now.
The branch.
Yeah. He worked for a tree company. Yeah. So, girl, he like you too. Well, before you like him, you have to end what you have. You understand what I'm saying? So, space makes Satan get in there. If you're going to do it, just do it then. Kill the dead space time. But the longer you let it, you get comfortable with being apart and you still tied together. Some men do it so they can say, she still got my name. It's ego thing.
He kept telling her, that's my wife.
See, and that's what we're talking about. So the situation, like say, ain't nothing new under the sun. David married Saul's daughter, Michal. Well, when Saul tried to kill David, David went on the run. He gave Michal to another individual. And I mean, they were honeymooning it up and they was having a good time. Saul died, David came back. David came to claim what was his. Right. He said, player, this is my wife. And the man was so in love with her, he couldn't understand. David said, I'm going to tell you one more time. Hold up, swole up, back up. Or I'm going to have to put you down. This is my wife, legally. And took her. Because he had to still accept the fact that she had been with another man, but it was illegal. But legally at that point, he could have said, well, I just can't do it with you no more. But that they were never married. They couldn't be because David and her were still legally married. You understand? So she could never really say he abandoned me or he ran off and left me. That's why I'm in this situation. Even if a man say I'm going to get a loaf of bread and you ain't seen him in 15 years, technically after 7 years, the court will grant you a divorce called abandonment. He has abandoned his husbandly duties. So he's bound by the law to do husbandly duties. If he's abandoned them, the marriage is dead. After 7 years, it's like a bankruptcy or anything. You're free of that. After 7 years, they will grant it to you. That's why when most men get 15 years in the penitentiary, next few days, the woman getting a divorce. I ain't going to see you for 15.
Right.
15 years, I'm not going to see you. What are you going to be able to provide for the house? Usually the only ones got that much time is they millionaires or something like that they can control and then still got monies that where they running the household. Now, Peppy the gardener may be doing some sneaking, but
the pool boy.
Yeah, the pool boy, you know. So it may be a little of that going on. But technically, he's still in power and control. But that's all that separation period is, to see if you can get it back. If you can't, you have to end it, because you can't end it like that with your name still attached and him still being the head of the household. You just can't. What you got, Dre?
They got something called legal separation now.
Well, that's all it means, is that you can't come here and force me back home. That's all legal separation means. Is all we're doing is letting the public know y'all going through this change legally, but that's not divorce.
Right. You gotta find
that just mean you beat the hell out of me, so we're separated. You going through counseling to try to get your anger management together, but while you there, I'm legally separated from you. I have a restraining order against you, so you can't come back here causing no trouble with me until we get this situation straightened out. That's a legal separation. So when the police come, they know he ain't supposed to be there, but you're still married. If she died that evening, they still gonna call him. The restraining order, whatever, goes away, and he's put back in charge. This what I want for the funeral. This what I want her to wear. Like Lou Rawls, he was separated with another woman, and he died, and that woman came in, and she had him in a green jumpsuit and some bowling shoes. I mean, just didn't have him looking like a natural man. That's what I'm saying. It's number one cut. One more question. Okay, y'all go. We got to get out of here. Go ahead.
All right. Sister Rachel asks, can you clarify the law on tattoos? I know we aren't supposed to mark our bodies for the dead.
Yeah.
What about just regular tattoos?
Well, the Most High say make no cuttings in your flesh. See, what happens is when you don't do it for the dead, who you going to do it for? I mean, even if you put a script on there, then you got to abide by that script. You know, we seen an individual who had a Star of David tattoo right here. Remember that boy that was over there? He was calling himself an angel. Or if you have on your arm, like Kobe had, if you have Leviticus 18 on there, but then you over here in this hotel with this woman and you doing it, you got the law of God on your arm. So he said, make no mark. He said, the only place I ever marked an individual was a man, and I marked him in his shorts where could nobody else see the mark but that man and his wife. He shouldn't pull off his shorts. The doctor may see it, but no other human being will see the mark that I place on. Then he said, I mark you up here. Satan marks the flesh. Satan marks the flesh as servitude. Even when we had Hebrew servants, and we're talking about indentured servants, 7 years, if that slave decided to stay with you after his 7 years, you would then pierce his ear and put an auger in there to let him know he chose to be my butler for the rest of my life. But no, man, the law is clear on how things are to be regulated between man and woman. It says if you can't get along, it needs to be peace. Whatever brings peace. You know, if time ain't gonna do it, if you'd have been through this time space with him 4 times in a row, it lasts 3 weeks and he back to his old self. You know, at this point, you got to really think about what the situation is. Then they say, well, a woman can't divorce her husband. That's what the law say. No, because the head of the household is supposed to be that. But Mark 15 says different. Who divorced Hagar, Sarah, or Abraham? It's a long time. That's for a ticket. You finna head out? Here. Well, let me give you that. Don't just be coming in here and dropping that money down. I ain't counting that money. How much that money? Yeah. Yeah, $7.50, man. I thought y'all discount price. Go ahead. But what was the last thing we were saying?
Yeah, about the tattoo.
So on that, it says make no markings, because what markings do is always tell somebody what you think. See, or what you used to think. See, now a lot of women, when they're young, they get tiger paws on their chest. Well, they sitting up like they look like tiger paws.
Right.
But when you add 30 years on there, it look like bear tracks. You understand? And you stuck with that. Or like you see people now, they put a loved one name on their arm. Well, what that's going to do if you get remarried? You know, there's always going to be something that, you know, you didn't put my name on there. You must have really, am I comparative? See, it just bring along things. But Satan is the only one that marks the flesh. So what it's telling you, any dead doctrine or any doctrine is dead. You're putting markings on you for the dead. What do you put on you? That's what the question is. What tattoo would anybody reasonably accept as being normal, or it should be okay with God? What would you put on yourself? That's what we're asking, because he writes his name in your forehead. It ain't literally on your forehead, it's on your consciousness. And part on the inward part, I want circumcision on the inward part. Abraham was 99 before he got circumcised in his flesh, because he was circumcised up here. So what we're asking is, what we always as an individual, what tattoo do you think would be okay with the Most High? Right. That's the main thing we ask first, to see where your thought process is at, to see if it's of a God of the dead. See, a lot of things that people get these tattoos be from gods of the dead. Egyptology tattoos, Buddha type tattoos, the Most High. Yeah, see, so let everything be done decently in order. How you in the Sabbath day, you may have a tattoo on of a different God. Right. You ain't did your homework. Like a lot of people get them Chinese writing and stuff, you know, and don't know what it means. You know, you can be like, yeah, man, I got this. I thought it was cool. And it may mean him who loves dog meat. You don't know it. And the Chinese people be inviting you to their restaurant. You eat for free. No, yeah, we done, bro.
I got 2 quick ones. Good. You probably shoot out. The same person that had that first question earlier, that they asked about voting. voting
Okay.
that we participate according to the principles of the Holy Manuscript.
Yeah, the Messiah and his mama paid taxes when they was going in Jerusalem. Voting is a situation that you have to be to the point. Voting, there's no scripture to say voting is illegal. They cast lots all the time. That's what it's called, casting lots. But look, if you don't vote for the president, they put you behind the 8 ball in your neighborhood. What if we got to vote for trash pickup once a month or every other week or every week? Well, once a month means it's going to be rats and everything, raccoons somewhere. And so you miss out on that because you didn't vote for a little small thing for your neighborhood. They ain't got nothing to do with who's trying to run the nation. But even if you vote for an individual that's like Trump or Biden, you're just saying, okay, I know I'm going to get the lesser of the two evil. Which one can I benefit more off of, or which way will it go? Because they're only going to give you the lesser of the two evil. You know, but if you don't, and they pass a bunch of laws against you, that's what they tell you. A jury is of your peers, right? The only way you can get on a jury is to vote. So if you want them to stop railroading and giving free cases, then guess what? You may have to sign up to vote so you can bust that up. No, I don't believe Skillet did that. No.
And decide what judge is going to serve.
And what judge is going to serve it exactly automatic. So you lose all of those privileges, but it's not in the Bible that says you cannot vote. That's not in there. It's just saying, because kings are set up by the Most High. Voting could have you in a part that set this king up and it fulfills Daniel this chapter. Because whatever king in this nation got to fulfill what Daniel is saying. You understand? So there's nothing in the Bible that says it's illegal. You have to just pick and choose what you'll be satisfied with your soul for. Because if you go vote for Trump and then he flipped the script, who you going to be mad at but yourself?
Right.
You can opt out and say, well, I'm just not going to vote for them. I don't like the Electoral College, but I'm going to vote for the neighborhood stuff.
What's the other question?
I'm going to vote for food to come to you know, to the you know what I'm saying? For food to come to the daycare center and things like that. You vote for that and they pass bills for that.
Yeah, that last question.
What that last one say?
How old was Mary when she had Jesus? We got some brews out here saying she was 12 years old.
No, that's some liars. 16. She didn't come out of the temple. They brought her since she was 16.
Yeah.
According to the book of Nicodemus. So she was a young woman, but she was never touched. And see, and this is what we're talking about. She was conceived by the Holy Spirit was conception in her. See, they keep thinking flesh. Right. See, what they're thinking is a man physically, and these are the Joseph is the daddy worshipers. Right. They actually believe that a man laid down with her. No man laid down with her.
Right. It was a virgin birth.
It was a virgin birth. So when you're asking how old was she, she was past her flower and able to give suck to the child. Right. And that's at least 16 years old, that where the nutrients would be there for a child to be able to be developed.
You got them all then, right? Yeah. Get them on the radio show.
Yeah.
They gonna get out the way. Rico asked early in the chat, when referring to Exodus 12:9, would the intestines, the boo-hoo line, have been removed as well, or not, since that verse is referring to inward parts?
Well, we don't have to worry about that no more because we ain't under that order.
Right.
That was for the high priest to deal with. Christ is our lamb. He's our total atonement. Hebrews 9th chapter. So none of that we have to deal with anymore. And we didn't have to deal with it anyway. The high priest had to deal with it. But we never ate organs.
Right.
Organs are blood filters. And we can't eat blood.
Right.
And no, we didn't eat cow chitlins.
Right.
Because that's an organ. Right. Nor can we eat tripe. I know we used to love it. But tripe is the lining of the stomach. It's an organ.
That's it.
That's it. That's
All right, family. We're going to get this closing prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 5th chapter, it reads, "Give ear to my words, O Yahweh.
Consider my meditation.
Yes, sir.
Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King,
Yes, sir.
and my Elohim, for unto thee will I pray. My voice shall thou hear in the morning, O Yahweh. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art not an Elohim that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight.
Yes, sir.
Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
Yes, sir.
Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man.
Yes, sir.
But as for me, I will come into thy house in the multitude of thy mercy.
Yes, sir.
And in thy fear will I worship toward thy holy temple. Lead me, O Yahweh, in thy righteousness because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O Yahweh. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions.
Yes, sir.
For they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice.
Yes.
Let them ever shout for joy,
Yes.
because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Yahweh, will bless the righteous. With favor wilt thou compass him as with a shield. Hallelujah! Selah!
Yes, sir. Y'all got a shekel or two. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.